Hey, this is Grant with Grant's Rock Warehouse, and today we're doing a Friday night chat on Saturday. I had to move this whole chat because I went and saw my daughter in Cincinnati, and everything's all good and dandy down there. So we moved the Saturday night chat to Friday. Moved the Friday night chat to Saturday. It's still called Friday night chat, so it doesn't matter. But so far, my co-pilot today is Peter J. How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
It's great to see you.
And who knows who's going to be popping in here today? I don't know. It's just a free form. We're just going to shoot the shit and talk about some stuff. But the main topic are records that changed your life. And, you know, we've all, anybody who's really into music, you've had this type of come to Jesus moment or some time in your life where you've heard a record and the sea is parted. We've all had that. And I must say, Peter and I were talking about this prior to starting this whole thing, that we don't really have those moments so much anymore, you know?
Much fewer, yes.
Much fewer. I can't remember the last one. Well, I did have one. But maybe I can bring that up when we're talking. But most of this stuff happens when you're like a kid, you know, when everything's all shiny and new, and then you hear something and you go, wow. You know, that's what happened to me with the whole Beatles thing.
Right.
When I first heard that. But we can talk about that. But why don't we just get started? And I'm just going to let you. Oh, here it comes. Rand Kelly's here.
Hello.
Hey, Rand. How are you?
Rand.
How are you?
Happy almost 4th of July, guys.
That's right.
Same to you.
How do I get a full screen out of this? Let me see.
Well, you look good. What do you mean? What is it showing you on your end?
All kinds of white in this small little area where you guys are.
I don't know, because you look fine to me.
Yeah, because the other day it looked
down in the very, very bottom right, Rand, around the word T for chat.
Found it, Pete. Thanks.
There you go, sir.
Hey! Love it when we can pull together like this.
I love it when a plan comes together.
So anyway, I was doing the intro, Rand, you know, how we're just going to talk about records. You know what we're talking about. Records that have changed our life. And I was just saying how when you're a kid, when everything's all shiny and new and you hear something new and it just like it changes your whole world and, you know, the seas part and come to Jesus and that whole kind of thing. You don't really have that so much anymore as you get older. I mean, of course, there's certain things you may hear, but things aren't shiny and new anymore. So this is basically a lot of the stuff that I pull is just old stuff that, of course. Look, no, we're just going to wing it. We're just winging it. We're just having a general conversation. And whoever jumps on and people can make comments and like anybody's watching. I don't know if anybody's watching yet. Who knows what we're going to get. But you can make comments on Facebook and YouTube and there's some people jumping on. You can make comments on Facebook and YouTube. And then if you have any questions for us, we can answer them and we can just have a conversation. So if anybody wants to come on, I listed the link on Facebook and I could put the link up here just for giggles. I could do that. And look, holy crap.
Are we recording right now?
We are.
We're going live. Holy gosh. Guess who's here? Holy, it's freaking Todd Evans.
Hey, everybody. Oh, hang on. I need my headphones.
Hang on. Let Todd get his headphones.
Gotta get my headphones.
It's like the gang's all here. I love it.
Get all feedbacky. Let's see.
Well, it could.
Speaking of feedbacky, my newest piece of music is 9 minutes of Strat feedback.
You know, Rand,
crazy.
There's only two words I have for you is avant-garde. I think that's 2 words.
Yeah, that's me, Rand Avant-Garde Kelly. Nothing's too weird for me.
Oh, Kathy Farrell-Moore, I'm here. There you go. See, there's a viewer.
Hi, Kathy.
Well, Kathy, you know, if you have any questions for the panel, please dish anything out that you'd like. But, well, we lost Todd again. But anyway, so we're just going around and talking about stuff. And I thought we might as well, I'm just going to go I mean, we're just having a discussion, boys. So, but Todd's getting all of his props. You getting your props?
Yeah, I wanted to show you what I got at the used CD store today.
Holy
Hey.
mackerel!
I mean, I've had
Cheap.
these. I've had these before, but now I have them again.
See, this cheap trick stuff's it's just a big influencer.
Let me see. $5. I think they're all $5.
Oh, you should see all the stuff that I got in Cincinnati. I know I'm not going with the program, but this is
I have one of
This
those.
is just some of it. But I got U2 Zeropa. I listened to that today.
King Biscuit did a fix. Are you kidding me?
Oh, it's great. Here, I'll show you what that looks like. This one half-price books in Cincinnati had a bunch of King Biscuit stuff. So I picked up the fix.
What's their big hit? Their biggest hit?
Peter,
One
didn't
thing-
we talk about?
one thing leads to another?
Right.
Peter-
I was in a band in the 80s that did that song.
Peter, didn't we talk about the fix once somewhere?
We did.
Was that you? Was that you, Todd?
That might have been after that Rush thing we talked about the fix.
Yeah,
Briefly,
but I can't.
maybe.
Oh, I can't remember.
I actually have a cassette called Reach the Beach.
Yeah, Reach Your Beach that's a good record. And then I got this Billy Squier one.
The Squire one's really good.
And then I'll show you what else I got. Well, I got more shit. Oh, I know we're not going to sub, but this is fun. Russ Never Sleeps. I picked Russ Never Sleeps.
Oh wow.
And I don't know about you guys. One of my favorite rock concerts, whatever you call this. I think it's just brilliant.
You know, Grant, I've only ever seen pieces of that.
Oh my God.
I've never seen the whole thing.
You've got to watch the whole thing.
Did you know did you know they call him the godfather of grunge? They say he created that Seattle sound in the early 90s, but I think it was King's X myself.
I don't know. Think about Neil Young. Think about Russ Never Sleeps. If that's not grungy, I don't know what is.
Have you heard Neil Young Mirrorball?
No, but I've heard Lanois.
Pearl Jam is the backing band.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a weird
been
album.
picking
I
up-
had it and I got rid of it, but
I've been picking up his stuff. But
Really
look, I got
heavy.
oh my God. This is like you'd think I don't go out into the wild very much, but then I got oh my shit.
Oh, I got a bunch I want to show. if
I
it's
got
all right.
Cock Robin. Do any of you guys remember the band Cock Robin?
I
No.
do.
I've seen it a million times.
Like this is going to be on the Cheapy Bin show, but whatever. But then didn't we talk about this? We talked about this somewhere.
Is that Raw Power?
Yeah. God, who was?
I saw him in the Cincinnati. You can see it on YouTube. It's the Cincinnati Summer Festival
Oh.
with Grand Funk Railroad. He was crazy.
Peter's
Rolling
gonna
in
dig
glass
this.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Peter's going to dig this. He may jump out of his seat. Look what I picked up.
Oh my God!
Oh, very good.
Nice.
Todd, you
Greatest-
familiar with this?
That's
I am.
the-
I've never owned it though.
That's the
Alan
greatest prog
Holsworth
album
plays
ever.
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah.
Jesus. I found this for $5.99.
That's 1979 in a nutshell, right there. That's the best album in the whole year.
And I've never heard this, believe it or not.
Oh,
And
You're
it's good.
kidding.
don't judge me.
It's great.
I'm not judging you. I'm just
You'll enjoy
surprised.
But
Oh,
Peter,
yeah,
how are the drums on this?
It's Bruford.
Well,
A question that answers itself.
that answers itself. And then
And it's not electronic drums because
holy-
it was before he started doing that.
and for $2, you're not going to believe this, but they had Kate Bush
Oh, nice.
in the $2 bin,
That's one I don't have.
and it's 2
Well, you-
CDs. I saw it, and when I went out to the checkout counter, the woman up there went, "Kate Bush." I didn't know he had any Kate Bush. I said, "Yeah, it was in the $2 bin."
That's a comeback, right?
Well, this is supposed to be a great record. I haven't
Oh
heard it.
yeah. And do you know what that pattern is on the cover? I read about it the other day. What it is? It's an oscillation photograph of her voice,
Oh,
waveform.
No, okay. That's kind of cool.
And then Yellow. I bought this Yellow CD. That was cheap.
I don't
I
know.
haven't heard that.
Was that the same as Yellow Magic Orchestra, or is that different?
That's different.
No.
And I got the other King Biscuit, The Waitresses.
Hmm.
I'm clueless on that one.
All right, you don't know
I-
this.
I always get sad whenever I think about the waitresses because of that poor girl died when she was, I don't know, 23 years old. Every time I see them,
I think she was older than that.
Oh, was she older than that?
Yeah, she was like
Were
in
they
her
an
40s.
all-girl band?
She
They
was
were a
too
band
young.
from Akron. They were a band from Akron.
She was too young.
Anyway, I got a bunch of
Wow.
for the cheeky bit episode. I'm good. I got a lot of stuff to yap about.
I have some things that are Grant's Rock Warehouse related that I got
That's
today.
good.
Can I show them?
Yeah, because we're just yapping. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. YouTube Boy, Original Island, and then
Oh yeah, there you go.
and then Songs of Experience because it was $2.99, and I figured at some point I'm going to have to listen to it if we go all the way up to the end with our YouTube series. And then this isn't related, but this is Anathema, and if you're not familiar with this prog band, they're amazing. And Keys to Ascension 2, which I was under I was under the impression it was rare and expensive, but I got it for, I don't know what I get it for, $8. This one's not related either.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
Weasels Written by Flash.
Guitar Wants to Kill Your Mama.
This isn't related either, but I'm in the process of trying to get all of the Columbia Chicago records because I don't like the remasters.
More on that later, Todd.
Here you go.
Not that album, but that band.
Oh, did you pick that up?
Yeah.
That's the Electra version.
Original Electra, yeah. This was
way.
$4.99.
Is that punk rock?
Not really.
No. It's more like REM-ish.
Oh.
I can't believe you found that.
I love that record.
Is that the Columbia pressing?
Yeah, yes.
Holy crap! What is this record store you're going
to? And again,
to?
It's called CD Warehouse. Again, $7.99. I thought this was a $15 CD.
That's my favorite Blue Oyster Cult album right there.
Todd, you still have CD warehouses down there?
We still have CD warehouses. They're independently owned. They kept the name and the signage, but they're two guys own them.
That Guadalcanal Diary for alone, you never see that ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And then two Interpol albums. I like Interpol a lot.
My son loves Interpol.
Yeah, he's got good taste.
He likes the one on the left. I think is the first album, right?
Yeah.
He loves that one and the second album.
Yeah, I like the first, second, and third the best. They kind of take a little bit of a dive after that, but I still like them.
CD Warehouse. Does it still have that CD Warehouse? It looks like a CD Warehouse.
Yeah, in like that industrial font. Yeah. And he's got records. He's got records in the back, so it's like a one-stop, blow all your money place.
We used to have
was that place called the Warehouse? Was that a franchise?
Yeah.
CD Warehouse is a franchise, but the Warehouse, WHERE, was on the West Coast.
Right.
I used to go there when I lived in Burbank.
I bought a Magellan album in Eureka, and the guy, I said, "What do you know about this group? This looks kind of proggy." And he was my drummer at the time, and he hated prog. And he goes, "I don't even know why we had that." So I bought it immediately.
So there you go.
Great album.
Well, man, Todd, you got some really
cleaned up
stuff. I'll tell you that whenever I go down and visit my daughter down in Cincinnati, I always hit all the stores that I can. Everybody's Records. There's a Shake It Up Music, and then the half price books down there just totally beat our half price books up here. There just must be tons of used music down there because the selection is just amazing.
I love Everybody's Records. That's a nice name for a record store.
It's been there forever. I didn't really get anything there, though. I don't think. No, I didn't buy anything there.
I just pre-ordered the Blu-ray to Pink Floyd Animals 5.1 today on Amazon. Took me forever to find it. I had to use a link that was on this guy's. His name is Life and Surround. He talks about 5.1 all the time.
Yeah. He
had a link to the Amazon, but when I went to Amazon, I couldn't find it, and I was going crazy. It took me about an hour.
This is kind of off the subject, but prior to everyone joining, Peter and I had a discussion. I'll run it by you guys. It seemed like, look, you've got Todd and I with all this physical media, got ran with physical media. I just learned today that our good friend Peter here has no physical media and got rid of it years ago.
That's correct.
Peter, I've done that before. I go in phases where I think, oh, why do I have all this stuff? So yeah, I've been there.
So we're thinking about developing some kind of, I don't know, do a show like you've got some people that are all about physical media and then some people that aren't. And I just would love to just discuss it.
In 2005, I separated from my first wife, and I was having some money trouble, and I decided to sell my original CD collection. And I sold it on Amazon Marketplace, which is like impossible to do now. Amazon got real picky about who can sell on there.
Right.
But I made $3,000 selling my CD collection.
Well, I'll tell you, I've got another story that's kind of similar to that.
I probably should have paid taxes on that.
Back in the back during the Clinton administration. This is how far back we're going.
Ooh.
Bill, not Hillary.
I'm
Bill.
old.
Okay.
I forget things.
But during the Clinton administration, people were spending left and right. It was a good day. CDs were still selling like crazy.
That was during the DVD boom. I remember that.
So what I used to do, I know we're not in our subject, but that's okay. What I used to do, I would go out and I'd work till 3:30. I would go to all the record stores in town and I'd get home in Columbus, come back up to Delaware, which is like 20 minutes away. And I would go through all the bins, all the cheapy bins, blah, 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 looking for those CDs that everybody wants, that no one knows about, that if you would put them up on eBay, you could, you might buy this CD for $3, but I could turn around and sell it for like 25 or 30.
You're a flipper.
I was a flipper. But during the CD Mecca, that's when you wanted to do it because you could make some money. There were some weeks I was so good at it that I could put $1,000 in the bank every week.
Ooh.
What was did you do it on eBay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My eBay points are like a bazillion.
In 2005, when I sold mine, I had the original K-Scope version of Porcupine Tree recordings. Mm-hmm. And it had only been out for like 3 years, but it went out of print and I sold it for $150.
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't in print. And then it got reissued like a year later.
You know what?
It was $10.
I've still got a store on Discogs, but I rarely. It's just stuff if I find cheapy stuff and I can turn it around. But it's not.
You'll have to tell me what your name is. I'll go look.
Boom. All right, I will. But the boom is, it's not like it was in the 90s where, Jesus, and you could find stuff and it was like a sport. What can I find and what can I turn around?
Well, I remember that about DVDs too. You remember the website DVD Price Search? Where you would type in the name of a movie and it would tell you who had the best deal. And that was back when there was Amazon and there was buy.com and there were all these different websites that were trying to be like Amazon. So there were like 7 or 8 places that you could buy CDs and DVDs. Yeah. Bunch of places.
CD Now, remember that store?
Yeah, CD Now. Yes. Well, CD Now became Amazon.
Yeah, they sucked them up.
Bought up by Amazon. And CD Japan is still going, but their shipping is outrageous. I mean, you're paying $35 to ship.
But those were the days, though, man. I was so addicted. And then I'd buy stuff, then I'd come home, and then I'd list them. I mean, that's all I did. I worked, and then I worked. But to sit, you get there and you get an auction going, and all I would always do are auctions. I would never. This is really before they were doing. Buy Me Now and all that. Mm-hmm. That ruined everything. The whole Buy Me Now thing.
Well, it took all the fun out of it.
It took all the fun out, and everybody's trying to just go for that top number. Ruined it. It was
when I listed on Amazon Marketplace, I would look at all the other listings, and I would price my listing 10 cents less than the cheapest listing, and things would sell like instantly, like within 15 minutes.
Do you remember half.com?
Yeah, that was another one, and it wasn't really half.
No, it wasn't.
No, but you could.
But I liked it a lot. I liked that place. I used to buy a lot there.
Discounts, but it was never half.
I wish that still was around.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's no fun anymore like it used to be. And this means, well, I was going to try to use that as a segue, but
you know what, though?
I don't know how I could use that as a segue.
I do really well on eBay the way it's set up now, because I do buy it. I look up a title and I look up buy it. I do buy it now, and then I go price lowest to highest, and then I go through all the listings, and the first one I see that has an actual picture of the CD and not just a stock photo, then that's where I start. And
it means a lot to me to see something that has the actual.
I have to see the actual one, but I picked up it's not here yet, but I picked up the Trick of the Tail, the made in Japan with the smooth case.
Yeah, that sounds good.
$12 or something like that.
I'm telling you, a lot of those Genesis CDs, those original US ones or the original Virgin ones, you can find them. The imports.
Yeah. The good thing about the Virgin
sound
ones,
really good.
The good thing about the Virgin ones is they didn't screw them up. There are a couple of American ones that have mistakes, like two different
Trick
versions.
of the Tail's got a bad tape.
Yeah. The original U.S. version of Duke.
No, not Trick of the Tail. Shit. Yeah, what about it? What's wrong with it?
The Duke is reversed, A-B reversed, so left is right and right is left. Oh. And then there were three. Side 2 is a left, right, reversed.
I was going to say Lamb Lies on Broadway is the one that
it's got a buzz in it. Yeah,
it's got a buzz. I've got that one.
Hey, but check it out. The remaster, the 5.1, they got rid of it.
Or is it just went out of print?
No, they got rid of the buzz. Is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a fluorescent light that was on that was causing that, and somehow Nick Davis was able to get rid of it.
Well, I like the remaster of Lamb, so that's my go-to.
Yeah, and
because there are too many issues with the other ones.
Yeah, I've heard that about Trick of the Tail, that there's different sounding ones. I've got a 180 gram vinyl that's yellow. Have you ever seen that?
I have that. Yeah, that one's got that one. I like it, but it's got a couple issues.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, mine has some crackling.
Peter, these
guys
are geeky.
Sorry, Peter. We're
see what I'm talking about?
You're an audiophile, huh?
Well, not really, but there's some crackle in. Listen to Entangled on that yellow vinyl.
I haven't even played it yet.
There's some crackle in it.
If I listen to that album, I usually listen to my CD. I have the 94 definitive edition remaster. Is that okay?
It's okay, but you know what the deal is with those? And I wish I could remember the name of it. At the time they are, but at the time that they did those, the main thing that they did to them is they ran them through a process that was new at the time. It was a program that was supposed to take out hiss.
Oh, no noise.
It's called de-hissing or no noising or de-noising. Yeah, no noise. That's how. Thank you. I couldn't remember what it was called. That's what they did. That's basically all they did.
And that takes away the highs.
Yeah, it's just they're okay. They're okay.
I never noticed that, but okay.
They're not. They're just not spectacular. They made it seem like it was a big deal, but it wasn't.
If you hang out on the Steve Hoffman site, you'll learn all about this.
That's where I learned that.
Everybody hates no noise.
I used to hang out on Steve Hoffman. There was a guy named Jeff there that was always opinionated. He sent me a Genesis Live CD burn from Italy. It's just fantastic. He said that's the best you can get right there. It was pressed in Italy. I had no idea.
You guys are just geeky.
Yeah.
The Steve Hoffman site, you can learn a lot over there.
The things that people complain about when it comes to most things, I don't hear them. The only thing I noticed was the original Rush Vapor Trails was absolutely unlistenable.
Yeah,
it just sounded like had a background. You can hear
it clipping, digital clipping. Peter, you've heard that, right?
That was the beginning of the Loudness Wars, right?
No, it started before that.
Rick walled it.
But it was brick walled when they recorded it.
Well, mostly what happened with that Vapor Trails.
The version's way better.
What happened with that Vapor Trails is they pushed the while they were recording it, they pushed the limits of the digital, and that's why it's digital clipping, and that's why it does that.
They redlined it on purpose.
Yeah. But then they couldn't undo it.
Well, you can't, not digital.
Right.
It's not like analog clipping, which is appealing to some degree.
Right.
Digital's horrible.
I don't know how the guy that fixed it, but it helped.
It's better.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at it on Amazon right now on my TV. it says 2007 remaster. So they redid it again after the 94. Is that
Yeah.
better?
Yeah, that's the ones that come with a CD and a DVD. Those are remixed by Nick Davis.
Well, I own that one. The
Okay.
ones that came in 5.1.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
So the definitive edition remasters are 90s, and then the originals are back in the.
And the original
80s.
echoes were better than the definitive.
I think so, because they're not.
It depends, but most of them, yes.
Even The Lamb Lies on Broadway doesn't sound. It's just, here's the tape. Here you go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Hiss. There's,
I had that one forever, and that was the only one I had for 20 years.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I bought that on 180 gram vinyl, and I haven't played it yet. But the like I said, the 5.1 is the only thing I listen to, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, they did a nice job on that. I don't listen to much 5.1, but
boy,
I have 5.1.
I'm addicted.
I don't have it anymore. I kind of
realized. Excuse me. You know what I realized about 5.1 is you can't remember it. At least with me, I can't remember the mix in my head like I can stereo. For some reason, it's not there. The back part, I can't do that.
I took all my surround speakers down around 2014 because you know what? 2 ears. 2 speakers.
I never had it.
Yeah, but you know what I say to that? You know what I say?
Anything else is kind of a gimmick.
When you're walking in downtown, and if you close your eyes, you hear surround sound. It's everywhere.
You do.
You can hear people coming up behind you and everything. So it's not like it's anti-natural.
Right. But I mean, a really good mix engineer can figure out how to place things within the spectrum where it sounds like things are higher or lower. It depends. There's a crowded house song called "Nails in Your Feet" where the mellotron comes in, and I swear the mellotron is down like on the floor. I don't know how they did that, but
okay. Here's
cool.
the problem. Here's the problem with 5.1.
Okay, here we go.
If you talk about what you were talking about, Rand, with the natural proximities as sound waves reflect, refract, and do everything around us, that changes as we move into different environments, all the different things.
Yes.
Where we would sit in an auditorium, where we sit in a concert, left, right, forward, back, all of that changes how that comes into our system. A 5.1 mix is a one-time, one environment, one snapshot targeting of where those signals go.
Right.
To me, it's pretty unnatural.
Okay.
So
I
don't listen to any 5.1s. I've had stereo my entire life.
Well, I was brought up on mono, so
my dad had quad, and that talk about a gimmick.
Hey, you guys want to hear something funny? You guys recognize that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, these headphones are called, what are they called? HD 555. And the whole idea of this, when I bought them, was this speaker. Let me see. God, it's so hard to do this. This speaker here is supposed to simulate surround sound. And what somebody told me was, if you pull all that crap out, you'll see a metal plate right there in the middle separating that speaker from itself. And people were taking the metal plate off, and they said the headphones sounded so much better. Yes, but how stupid is that to put a metal plate in between the speaker to make you think it's simulating surround sound? And I bought these things. Now, when you go onto Amazon to try to find these headphones, they're not there. I think they stopped making them. But I mean, that's how stupid it gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grant, should we segue into the topic, or
start talking?
Let's go. Well, see, this is how you never know what's going to happen on this.
Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Todd. I appreciate it. I didn't know any of that.
And I don't mean to insult anyone who's into 5.1. Lots of people are, and I don't have a dog in that hunt. But it's just me personally. I got tired of hiding wires and all that stuff, and I just pulled it all out.
The cross-pollination between home theater and home audio became very diffused. And, the whole notion that someone says, well, these are great for a home theater and an audio system. Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. They're completely different functions. They're audio and how soundtracks and movies are mixed and mastered and frequencies are enhanced and rolled off and everything. They couldn't be more different. So if you want to have two dedicated systems, go for it. Have a theater, have one, but don't listen to music on it, and don't do theater on your audio system.
I have a question for you, Pete, since you know more than I do about it. What do you think of Dolby Pro Logic 2 in a 5.1 setup?
You know, I used to work in home theater installation when I was at the CD store. I'm not familiar with where most of the Dolbys have gone, and the 5.1s and the 7.1s and everything else. Its original Pro Logic was a stereo front mix, a mono center channel, and mono rears. That's what Pro Logic was, original Pro Logic. So you didn't have a stereo separation from your back speakers left and right. As you went up and you upgraded, now you've got full range stereo. In the back, you now have the 7s, which are your side fills, so you don't have a gap between your fronts, your rears, and your sides. It'll come along and hit you at the shoulder, and then it'll hit you behind. The center channel is now full range. Other than that, how they're decoding it is not something I've kept up with. I put my theater away a long time ago when my kids were little, and have pretty much just left it that way.
Yeah.
I have a strange Yamaha system that you have to hook the speakers up. All the connections are on the subwoofer, and it hooks to a computer cable. It's really weird. And I do my surround system. I'll show you. Let's see if I see that. That's one speaker.
Okay.
And I don't have anywhere to go behind me, so I just got it perpendicular to the wall, going into my ears.
Right.
And I balance it with the balancer to make the two front ones a little bit louder and the center one, and then the woofer, and then these. And it all sounds kind of cool when I'm right up here against the wall. But if I go into the middle of the bed, it's totally different.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I don't like
when you have a full-blown, in theater system, deciding where you want to sit is going to depend on how much of the front you get, how much of the rear you get, and how much of the mids you're going to get. So typically the best spot, in my opinion, is dead center, slightly forward. So you get the dialogue as clean as you can, have some depth to the rear. So it feels, and one of the very best signals we always used when we were testing stuff is the first gunshot scenes in Quigley Down Under. When he's shooting his long rifle, it's one of the cleanest, most accurate surround signals you can use because there's so much quiet everywhere else. It's just the shot of the bullet, the air, and then its impact. But of course, it's impacting way, way behind you because it's all now way off in a distance. So, and Top Gun was always really great because it was so fast and where it was moving, and you could set your systems up. But those things are very dependent on where you sit, how the distances between your speakers, how big your speaker systems are, and the delay times between your front to your middles to your rear. If you get it too far, it's unnatural. If it's too close, it comes right up on top of you, and you don't have time to separate your audio from the front. That's not natural. But they all have the capability to change and alter those things. And what I was talking about is the separation is that go into most regular theater or audio places now, the thing that are just dinosaurs are 2-channel amps. They're dinosaurs. Everything's got a processor in it. Everything's got a multi-channel. Well, there's the old saying, the more you put something in it, the less efficient and effective it is because it has to try and do a lot more things. And if it was really, really good, it'd be way out of your price range. So the idea of separate components, get separate power amps, get a separate processor, get a separate everything to allow your system to function at a much higher level. But we're in the weeds on that one.
I noticed that when I do that, when I'm watching a movie or something.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's decoded for surround sound or not, but I've noticed that when I push it into Dolby Pro Logic 2 just to see what's going on, it has this weird hollow sound to it, but I lose like depth. It sounds like I'm in a pipe or something.
Yeah, it may
Is it
have
out
like
of phase?
it
Sounds
may
like it's
have
out
like
of
a
No, it's not. It's not that it's out of phase. It just loses power. It's like it's dividing. You know how when you watch Star Trek and they say put all the power of the ship to the phasers. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
like that.
Right. Well, it's all based on
Right.
settings, Rand, and where those delay settings are set up inside ProLogic 2. And most systems would allow you to change those delay systems.
Yeah, I usually turn mine completely off.
Yeah. And usually what we find now is that people who are not using dedicated home theaters, who are trying to watch Hulu or any of these other things, they have what is just a gross negligence in the audio video world. The fact that the dialogue is here, and as soon as the action comes in, it destroys your mix and blows you right out of your listening area. So you bring that down, and next thing you know, you can't hear the dialogue.
You can't hear the dialogue,
I have a button I can push called nighttime watching or something, and apparently that compresses everything to the same.
Right.
Should I use that, or
it's entirely up to you? There's no right or wrong answer to any of that, Rand. It's all based on how you want to listen and how you want to hear. The point is that the only way to really fix that, and it'll happen on something like, AMC. You'll be watching Walking Dead. The dialogue will be here. In the first action scene, all of a sudden the dialogue is substantially higher decibel levels, and all of a sudden your TV's way too loud. And you're like, crap, back it down. Now the dialogue starts because there's no background and you can't hear them.
That makes watching Netflix almost impossible for me because it makes me crazy.
Yeah, or any 2-channel application for a system that is designed to be separated and dedicated into specific channels. So you can take that balance and say, okay, I'm going to bring all the rest of the non-dialogue channels, my mains, my sides, my rears, and I'm going to bring them down, or I'm going to bring my center channel up. So the dialogue will now match and not be out of volume. Now, a truck exploding is supposed to be louder than someone who's talking. Okay, but not so much so that it's just so jarring that it throws your ears off. And
it wakes all the pets up. Yeah.
Talking comes out of the center.
Yeah, that drives me nuts.
Talking comes out of the center. Is what you said?
Ideally, when it's set up that way, center only is dedicated audio, is dedicated dialogue, because you don't want the dialogue coming at you from any other distance other than your forward proximity. So the center channels are directly in front, and in a lot of theaters, they may even be speakers that are directly behind the screens, firing directly right at you. So you don't want them off to the sides. You don't want dialogue coming off to the left or the right because it pulls your attention. It moves your head. And comprehension is also better if you can see them and hear them at the same time. So your comprehension is better because it's less likely to be unnerving in what they're saying because the dialogue is coming to you exactly as your eyes are seeing the speech be enacted off in their mouth.
Right. And if I turn my Roku TV on with its speaker, the louder it gets, not the louder it gets, but the farther away they go, there's a delay. It sounds like it's echo. I still can't get my head to wrap around that, because if I turn the stereo off and just use the TV, it's perfect. But when
I would venture to say that most people who have put together home theaters have no idea that they've got the capabilities to change all of those parameters inside their systems to make sure that in their listening environment, the delays and reactions and things are happening in a natural speed. They just kind of plug and go and they go, oh, okay, I guess this is the way it is. But it does take some tweaking. It takes some work.
Wow.
Do you guys remember the earliest Dolby Pro Logic systems had a setting called Phantom?
Phantom. Yes.
That was for if you didn't have a center speaker,
Right.
it would attempt to take dialogue and put it in the middle.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I remember that.
Absolutely.
I don't think mine has that, but I remember hearing
Usually
about
older stuff has that.
Yep.
Like 80s stuff.
All I want to say is my stereo is all 1970s gear.
Yeah, so's mine.
I just got a vintage Pioneer, and I love it.
It's I got a Yamaha, whatever, 80-watt amp.
Cool.
Natural sound. And I got a Marantz amp. You've seen it. It's a 1090. It sits behind me.
Yeah.
Over there.
Do you know one last thing on this subject? I swear that'll be it. One of the things that I read recently that I thought was so interesting is that when you buy a home theater receiver, it has all the logos of everything on it that's been that it gets. They have to like Yamaha has to pay DTS and all those people in order to be able to put that on there. Right. For every one of those little logos that's on your receiver, they have to cost cut somewhere. So what you're getting if you're buying a home theater receiver to listen to stereo music, there's a whole bunch of cost cutting to get it into the $300 to $500 price range. And
most of those things, and here's the rub, because if you're geeky enough to be able to look at a spec sheet of a piece of electronics and know what all those different categories mean, you'll find that there's an absolute direct correlation between the more those home theaters put more and more channels and more stuff in it, the signal to noise ratios increased, their dynamic ranges got shorter, their total harmonic distortion went much higher. And the other thing is that where they're cutting corners is the same thing that the laptop and the PC world does when you buy prefab things that's already built. First thing they do is they lower the quality of the power supply. The capacitors aren't as good. And all of those things are directly related to heat management. And heat management to electronics is death. It is noise. It is obtrusive. And it will be the death of your system. And so the high-end audio guys and the high-end computer guys know that a lot of their budget has to go into cooling systems, keeping your hardware cool. Yep. So it doesn't add extra noise. And again, when we're talking about societies that listen on phones with earbuds, they don't know the diff anyways.
Yeah. There's a whole line of Sony home theater. This is just one example of home theater stuff. And the very bottom of the line for Sony is a receiver that's just a 2-channel receiver. It's 100 watts times 2. It doesn't have any processing on it. It doesn't have any surround. Right. That's the best sounding receiver in their whole line.
Yeah, that's the one you want.
That's the one you want. And the more you can look online, you can look on YouTube, and people will review that one. It's called a STR D190. And the further up you go, unless you're going to spend like $3 or $4 grand, the worse they are for music listening.
Well, and the rule is buyer beware, because 100 watts to 1 amp is not the same as 100 watts in another amp. They couldn't be more different in some cases.
That's the lesson you learn with vintage audio.
That's correct.
They're a lot more powerful than you think.
50 watts of real clean power is way desirable over 100 watts of noise.
I just got a Pioneer SX580 from 1980, and it's 20 watts per channel. It's the loudest amplifier I've ever had. At 20
it's
watts.
The loudest 20 watts you've ever heard.
Yeah, it kicks 100 watts of today's power's ass. I mean, it's more powerful.
But then again, you also have to consider how much speaker sensitivity you have.
Correct.
I'm running smaller ad vents, which are very inefficient.
Right.
That 80 watt, but the smaller ad vents run at 4 ohms.
My Infinities, I've had those since the early 70s. Got a 12-inch 3-way studio monitors. They're very hungry. Mm-hmm. They want their power. But when you give them to them, they open up like the sun after the worst storm ever. They are just glorious.
And then there are speakers like Klipsch. They want 10 to 12.
Right. They're very efficient.
If you put 100 watts into them, it doesn't sound right. That's one good thing about modern speakers.
No, but you don't have to. But again, the analogy is, I would rather have a 100-watt amp at 25% than a 50-watt amp at 50 or 75%.
Right.
So I want that dynamic headroom. I want all of that extra power. I want it to kind of just look at me and go, really?
That's all you got.
And more so than anything, and like I said, we're way off in the weeds now, is
I may have to retitle the show.
You really want to monitor its.
I'm really sorry I started all this, you guys.
You want to monitor its ability to carry very low ohm, because a lot of the stuff that we were selling was the Japanese Pioneer Elite stuff, which was very high end.
Yeah, that's nice.
And you could get an M90 or an M91, and this is 8890 in the decade. They were 200 watts, but they were stable to a half ohm. So it doesn't matter what you're playing in there. We have no any frequency variations. You have no power degradations. The heat sinks are this big.
Yeah.
The amplifier weighs 65 pounds. There's copper everywhere, honeycomb throughout the whole thing. All of that is designed to take power and make it as clean and as accurate as possible, because dirty, ugly power, even in the very best speakers, is going to make a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
All right.
There's the low.
Hey,
there's
welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse. And today, our topic. But before we go to that, Zeb, if you're even there, I don't know if you're even there now. I like the original mixes. I'm not a guy that likes remix stuff. Even though if you want something remixed, I think Steven Wilson's your guy. But as far as CDs go, those original Virgin Geffen CDs from the 80s, those are my go-to XTC.
I like the 80s ones. I like the 80s ones too.
Yeah, because a lot of the later ones were really brick-walled.
I'm used to them. That's they sound right to me because I've listened to them for so long. But what a lot of people don't know is, as far as Steven Wilson remixes, you don't have to buy those boxes because, like, for example, with Jethro Tull, Chrysalis has put them out in just the just a CD. So if you want either the mix or you want a decent copy of this album, this is $12 instead of.
But if you want the bonus tracks and stuff, you do have to do it right, because I bought those box ones.
This one has five of the extra tracks, so you'll get a lot more of them if you buy.
I'm ordering that thick as a brick that person put up that was saying up from Burning Shed right now.
That was Zeb. Thanks, Zeb.
Yeah,
thank you. Oh yeah, here it is.
Because I've been crying about that being $700, like I was going crazy.
Right.
You gotta be kidding.
I only bought one of the Marillions. I only bought. Whoa, hang on. Things are toppling over. I only bought this one because it's my favorite one. And
I didn't get Brave. I got Script.
The rest of them are now really expensive.
And Fugazi. And I think that's it. I've only got 2 of those.
I don't know.
All righty.
Again, I'm sorry that I screwed up your show.
You didn't. It's fine. It's a free form. We're free form, Rand.
We're free form. I freeformed the other day on my Strat because I broke a string.
No, you're not freeform. You're avant-garde.
You have to watch it just once, just for a giggle.
I'm not sure I could sit through it, Rand. I'm being honest. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Peter. We're talking about tonight records that changed our life, and I know we went on a tangent, but that's what's fun.
It's Saturday.
So I'm going to turn it over to Peter, and then we'll just kind of go around the.
You want to do one as we go around?
Yeah, I bet 2.
I mean, we've already burned up a lot of time, so we can just talk about a couple of them. So I'll do Peter, and then Rand, and then Todd, and then me, and we'll go around the horn.
Well, it's interesting because these are the ones that I go back to as far back as I can remember that I still recall today as having some type of impact. So this one's going to go way back. This was originally released in 1963, and I was born in 62, and we obtained the collection of these records, and these were the Disney records that were put out during the early 60s. My parents started buying these. Again, I've told everybody I've got 2 older sisters, 3 years and 6 years. So they started getting those, and we got a large amount of them. I think we must have had 25 or 30 of these Disney records that had soundtracks, but they also had addition, subtraction, storytelling, that kind of thing. So anyways, one that made the absolute biggest impact on me was an album from Disney of side 1 was Peter and the Wolf, and side 2 was The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I know which one you're talking about.
Not only the stories and remembering Sterling Holloway's wonderful narration, but it was my first exposure, although unbeknown at the time, to legitimate full-on classical music. Obviously, Peter and the Wolf is designed to incorporate the instruments of the orchestra as they represent characters. And so you would associate and you'd learn that Sonia was, and the duck, and Peter and the wolf and the timpani, and you learned what these all were. And that made a huge impact on me. So I was being exposed to Prokofiev's music, and to this day, he's still by far one of my top favorite classical composers. The other side was the amazing work from Paul Dukas, Sorcerer's Apprentice, and the music in that is essential to telling the story and the drama and the tension that it contained in the story. And at that point, I was exposing myself to both the dialogue and the music. And to this day, I can see myself at the table. It's against the wall. I'm coloring while the record player is in front of me and my mom's in the kitchen working on stuff. It'll never leave me. And I still, to this day, I, of course, exposed my kids to it. And both The Sorcerer's Apprentice and Peter and the Wolf are two of my favorite classical pieces of all time. So I go way back, and that album was seminal in my moving forward as I was enjoying music and how I was developing later years as a musician. So Peter and the Wolf.
Cool.
Pete, have you heard the 1970s version from all the prog musicians in England do that, Peter and the Wolf?
No, I have not.
Phenomenal. Gary Moore plays Duck. He does it on a guitar with a wah-wah pedal. Oh, God, I'll send it to you on YouTube. It's phenomenal.
Very cool.
There you go. Well, Rand, what
narrated by the same guy that narrates Tubular Bells.
Oh, okay.
Viv
Oldfield?
Viv Stanshall.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's got that voice. You can't miss it.
Well, I've got probably a half dozen classical versions of Peter and the Wolf that are done.
There's one with David Bowie that's really good too.
Bowie's. I've had one with Sting. I think my go-to is Sir John Gielgud.
Really? Yeah.
Because, for me, and here, I'm not going to get into the weeds on this. So we'll just make it real short. Sure. As a classical musician and classical lover, if you think hunting down stuff in the pop rock world is crazy, you should see what people like me go through to decide which classical piece we're going to buy. When Beethoven's Ninth probably has 5,000 versions of it, that you're going for which one is the combination of which one might have the best performance, but it may not have the best sound. It may have the best sound, but not the best performance. You may like this orchestra with that conductor, but not that conductor with this orchestra. You like it in this hall, but not that hall. Yeah, I'm way in the weeds in that stuff. And it's taken me months and sometimes years to decide on a classical piece that I'll actually purchase and add to my collection. But those are some of them, but all that love began from that record on Disney way back, and probably for me 1966 when I was 4, somewhere in there, 3 or 4. So that's my first one.
There it is right there. I'd send it to you, but I don't know your email.
No, that's okay. We'll find it.
You can find it on, it's just Peter and the Wolf, Robin Lumley.
Okay.
He's the keyboard player for Brand X. Or was. Amazing stuff.
I will
Amazing.
check it out. I'm a very traditionalist with my classical music, so I will be open.
You know what's beautiful about
open-minded.
that? What's beautiful about that is they stick to the Prokofiev notes. You know, they don't really play loose and fast.
No. Yeah, because I mean the piece is the piece.
Right. Peter. That's what it sounds like.
All right, Rand.
Oh, I'm up.
Sure, why not?
I'm going to do a lightning round since I,
derailed the whole conversation.
Yeah. Start with that.
That's back to the Beatles.
That changed my whole life. I don't need to go down that road because we've got a whole show about that on my channel, Rand Anthony Kelly.
Yep.
Oh, really?
I first heard this at my school when the guitar player in the band told the teacher about it. He put this on and we sat there and didn't play our instruments for the entire hour. We listened to this record instead.
Outstanding.
Amazing. I had a cool teacher.
Yeah, I had great teachers in junior high and high school too.
I'm learning how to play guitar, so this was helpful as a guitar lesson. Mark Farner is still one of my favorite players.
I've never heard of that band.
This changed my life. I discovered Steve Howe, and he's been my favorite guitar player since 1971.
Are they called Maybe?
Funny. This was my introduction to heavy metal. I saw these guys and these guys in the same concert. They opened for them.
Wow.
It was weird. Rupert and Wakeman, the Fragile Tour.
They opened for Yes?
Yeah. No, Yes opened for Black Sabbath.
Yes opened for Sabbath.
And the band that played before before Yes was called Wild Turkey.
Yeah, Wild Turkey was
Glenn Cornick.
Yeah.
And but here's the deal. Gary Pickford Hopkins is singing lead for Wild Turkey. Touring with Yes. Later on, and Rick Wakeman's the keyboard player. Later on, he's the singer on Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Right.
Rick Wakeman's playing for Black Sabbath on Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. They all met on that tour. They were all together. I don't think many people put that together, but I did.
Very cool.
And then this.
Oh yeah, metal.
The Shine On box version. That's
why
that's why the picture's so small.
There is no Dark Side if they hadn't done metal first.
Oh, I agree. I think Echoes is the greatest song that they ever put out, and I became a David Gilmour fanboy right here. It's like this is the first time I've ever heard him. What an amazing experience.
Stunning record.
Seen him twice. I love Pink Floyd.
A lot of great stuff.
I got to meet him, but we don't have time to talk about that.
Did our host leave?
That's okay.
So did you guys like that lightning round? That was fast, huh?
Yeah.
This reminded me something of. I'm going off on a tangent again, but Todd and I were talking about this the other day.
Yep. We did that show on the Contrarians.
This is
that's a different one.
You can see the logo. Look on the spine. It says Yes, the Remasters.
Yeah.
It's Japanese.
Well, that's because they didn't stop like they stopped in the United States. They did the rest of the catalog. This is Big Generator, and it's got all these bonus tracks on it.
Well, I don't have bonus tracks, but I've got that 1999 Pacific Microsonics, but mine's not a gatefold. Mine's just a digipack, like an album. It looks like a mini album.
This is awesome, and they did Yes songs, and look how thick the case is.
Right. I used to have that in a Fat Boy. Hey, what are the bonus tracks on that Big Generator, Grant?
This is 2 CDs. I mean, it's got great art. I mean, it's the same Yes remasters on the same logo, and it's all Rhino.
The Japanese.
I have to get the 90s version of that.
Why in the United States we stopped with this? I don't know.
Hey,
Yes.
the Japanese version I've got of that is 3 discs, just like the LPs.
I don't know if you can see that. Well,
I just wanted to know what they were.
I can't read them. They're too small and I don't have my glasses.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up.
But then Yes Shows has bonus tracks on it.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I currently don't have one of those.
Oh, I know. It's the 2 songs that they put on the little 45 in the record.
Well, this is live.
Well, no, they didn't put it in that record. They put
it in Classic Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
I just bought Classic Yes a couple of days ago for $1, and it has the 45s tacked onto the end.
Yeah, it's Roundabout.
Tracks 9 and 10. Yeah.
What is it? Roundabout and I've Seen All Good People.
Yeah, I like that version of.
Yeah, that's on here.
I like that version of it.
But
yeah,
that's why they stopped here in the States, I don't know.
Japan has a whole different relationship with Yes than America.
Evidently.
They love them.
Evidently.
All right, should I go?
Yeah, go, Todd. I just wanted to. I had these pulled so I could show you, and
I'm gonna do 2 because I'm gonna hop off and go eat dinner, and then I'll come back, and if you guys are still here, I'll pop back on.
Well, you never know.
So,
no guarantees.
So when I was in 10th grade, 9th grade, or 10th grade, the first Yes album that I ever bought was Tormato, because it was on sale, because they had overstocks because they pressed too many, so it went cut out, and so I got the cassette of Tormato for $3.99, and me and my friends thought it was pretty cool because it was the only Yes album we'd ever heard. So to this day, I still like Tormato a lot, because when I heard it, I mean, I knew what Roundabout sounded like, but when I heard it, it sounded good to me. But I was listening to one of those. There used to be a lot of different ones. Late at night on the FM station, they would do either Rockline or interviews or whatever, and it would be, like a show with a band, and they'd have songs interspersed with interviews. And so I heard one about Yes, and somewhere in a cassette at the bottom of my closet, I still have it from when I recorded it off the FM. But they played And You and I heard the Mellotron, and I went, what is that? Now, I'd heard the Mellotron before because I had a couple of Moody Blues 45s. When I was in the 3rd grade, I had a couple of Moody Blues 45s. I had Nights in White Satin, and I had I'm Just a Singer. And so I'd heard the Mellotron, but I didn't know that's what I was hearing. It just sounded like an orchestra to me. But when I heard this, I was like, I have to have this. So I told my mom she had to drive me to the record store so that I could buy this. And luckily they had it. So this was the beginning of, because at the same time I was listening to stuff like this, I liked New Wave. I liked anything that was weird. So I liked Devo, and I liked the B-52s, and I liked all that kind of stuff. But when I heard And You and I was like, okay, this is a whole other thing. So that's my first one. But this is the one I really want to talk about the most. And a lot of people will say that this is not this band's best album, but I actually, it's the one that really broke through for me. So I'm going to hold up. This is Affinity by Haken. It's from 2016. And so this is the thing about Haken that changed everything for me. So there's always been.
I've never even heard of that.
There's always been. Oh, we got a lot to talk about then.
Cockroach King is unbelievable.
There's always been prog, and there's been metal. Okay, so Porcupine Tree comes around in the 90s, in the early 2000s, and so they have Porcupine Tree is proggy, and then their songs have metal parts to them. So you shift. You get like whiplash, like thrown into a metal part and then back into a prog part. Well, what Haken does, and this is the album where I think that they do it the most effectively, Haken will take a really gorgeous soaring melody and they will put the metal riffs right on top of it and do it at the same time. And that blew my mind. And so I thought, how can you even do that? What a crazy idea. That doesn't even make any sense. But it's spectacular. And what this did for me, see, when I was growing up, I talked about this on the Contrarians with Marco once, but that show is a patron only show. But when I was growing up, I was kind of a prog snob. Not really, because I liked new wave. I liked Blondie and
I love Blondie.
all that kind of stuff, and Talking Heads. But
don't like them.
But I didn't listen to metal. I kind of liked Judas Priest because I thought Rob Halford had a great voice, and I thought, well, they could be a prog band if they wanted to with that guy with that voice. But but I didn't listen to Iron Maiden. I looked at Iron Maiden record covers. I thought they were stupid. I was like, what is this Eddie guy? What does he murder people? What are these songs about murdering people? This is I don't want to listen to that. It's stupid.
Murder's in the room, Morg.
So when I heard this, I thought metal can be really beautiful and powerful. And I was just like, what have I missed? So I started buying Iron Maiden records. I started buying all the Judas Priest records. I started buying Blue Oyster Cult records. And I thought to myself, man, I missed a whole bunch of really great stuff because I thought that metal was metal and prog was prog. Well, not anymore. So homework. I'm going to give everybody homework, even though it's not my show. There's a song on this record, if you have a streaming service, there's a song on this record called Bound.
1985. Oh, I'm sorry.
Bound by Gravity. 1985 is good too, but this song is called Bound by Gravity. And that is the song that blew my mind and made me go, whoa, you can do metal and prog at the same time. And now they have another album, the one that comes after this, called Vector. And Vector has a song on it called Puzzle Box. And one of the things that Haken also can do is play in two time signatures at the same time. Well, on Puzzle Box, they play in 3 time signatures at the same time.
They're crazy.
So
that sounds like Peter's right up Peter's alley.
Have you seen them live, Todd?
Let me explain.
I have.
Let me explain if I may, Todd.
Yeah.
I am in my advanced composition class in college.
Uh-huh.
And we had to write 2 and 3 part harmonies based in certain keys and that kind of thing. So we would write them out, and then our teacher would play them back to us on piano. Well, me being me, and Grant, you've smelled the roses before they started stinking, because I did a 3-part. One was in 3/4. One was in 6/8, and the other was in 3/8. And only so often you do the math down the line would they line up.
Yeah.
And he looked at it like, what? So he had to ask one of the other piano players to play the 3rd part. And believe me, it was as out there as it could get. But sonically and harmonically, it all matched, and everything was in line. And they finished, and they go, only you would do that. And I go, yeah.
Stuff like that is so much fun to listen to, though.
And then
because it's a challenge. You're like, wait a minute, I'm going to figure this out.
Well, and the next year in my senior class for senior analysis, they said pick any 20th century piece you want and analyze it for form and melodic structure and key changes and all the things that you need to do to analyze everything to the nth degree. People are picking stuff. They're picking stuff 99% classical. I walked up, and of course you had to play it for the class, and then I had the sheet music for it. So all of a sudden, here's the Crotali swirling around, and they're like, it's YYZ. And they're like, my teacher looked at me and he goes, why am I not surprised? So I analyzed YYZ down to the nth degree, and it carried a lot of traditional compositional elements, how it changed keys to relative and majors and minors and went to dominance, and how there was reverse rhythmic transitions between what Alex and Getty did, and they'd go to the next verse, they'd swap. Anyways, A+. So I was like,
of course.
So yes, Brand, I'm on your page.
You know what I figured out about odd time signatures? No matter what they are, like if they're 5 or 7 or whatever, but when you double them, they always go even. It's crazy because you'll put up 7 beats, right? And then you do 7 more beats. But if you put those together, it's 14. That's an even time signature.
Right. And
every one of them does that.
Everything is broken down to 3 and 2, no matter how you do it. Unless you do a 1, just a single 8th note. If you're going to do 13/8 or something like that, and you're just going to have a 1/8 note or a 16th note or something, then that's fine. But it's all math.
Showing the theory.
It's all math. And, I was asking Todd, I had not heard anything about that band, and I will go check them out.
They're incredible.
What did you think about Dream Theater? Because I thought they were kind of one of the first to kind of take the prog thing and add a lot of metal to it.
Yeah, I love Dream Theater, and I feel like Dream Theater has more of a metal base to it than this does, because this has some stuff on it that is just super melodic, and Dream Theater is like that too. But I feel like a lot people perceive, other people, not myself, but a lot of other people perceive Dream Theater as a metal band, and so I don't. I see more in there. But Haken is weird, because you almost expect Haken to be, they have stuff that's really gentle, and they have stuff that is brutally heavy, like heavier than Dream Theater. Okay. So that's the thing that differentiates them for me. Dream Theater is heavy, and they can be extremely heavy, but Haken can be brutal.
What makes Haken heavy to me is that you got two guitar players playing 8-string guitars, plus a bass player, plus a keyboard player who can play bass on synthesizer. When they all play the same thing, it's intense.
Yeah. So quick Haken primer, since we're talking about him, because I don't think I'm ever going to be able to sell a Haken show on the Contrarians. But starts with Aquarius. Aquarius is more of a traditional prog album with some metal elements.
That's got growling vocals on it, doesn't it?
It's got what? A little bit, not a lot, just a little.
No, just a little bit, yeah.
But it's got the story is about a mermaid that's found by a human couple, and they try to figure out whether or not they're going to be how they're going to raise her. Very proggy. The second album is called Visions. Visions goes into more of a different genre kind of a thing. Like, they do all kinds of a stuff. There's parts of the title track Visions that sounds like circus music. I mean, just all over the place kind of styles. I mean, they switch from fusion to oompa band, to polka, to back into metal. And so that's where it gets interesting.
This time live, they were amazing.
The Mountain is more of a super melodic metal band. This is probably the closest they got to Dream Theater.
The Cockroach King is insane. That's Gentle Giant City right there.
Yeah. And then comes Affinity in 2016, which is kind of a mix of everything that they've done already. A little bit more accessible. When it came out, a lot of people were disappointed in it, but having 5 years to look back on it, I think it's probably the best one.
I don't get the disappointment. I think that's a fantastic.
I just heard a couple people that in my circles say that they like.
They
like Visions and Aquarius better, but Vector and Virus go together.
Vector was the first one I ever bought,
and they're about some poor guy who gets institutionalized, and a series of really unfortunate things happen to him. But this is a really beautiful album, and it's beautiful in a very untraditional way. It's punishing in parts, but the song Puzzle Box, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the one that's got all of the crazy time signature things happening. And Virus is kind of a slightly less good version of Vector, but it's got a song on the second side called Messiah Complex. It's multi-part that goes into that has pieces of their older songs in it. Like, it's got part of Cockroach King in it, and so that's really cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, Haken is amazing,
and they give you karaoke opportunities with their records too, don't they? Put instrumental mixes for you.
These two the first two got reissued with an instrumental disc. So the whole album is an instrumental on the second disc.
You can sing along with Vector and Virus.
Yeah, but good luck.
Yeah, good luck. If you're not Ross Jennings, good luck.
Right. So anyway, sorry, I went a little longer than I thought.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it. I'm going to go eat dinner, and then I'll try to come back.
Ciao.
Thanks.
Right. Well, my first... so funny.
Sorry about that.
I've told this story. Oh, Rand's already heard my Beatles story, though.
It doesn't matter. You're talking to the world, not just me.
All right. I was kind of like Peter before, where, I had like a little Kenner close and play record player that I used to play all my Walt Disney records on. And then my folks got me this Decca self-contained unit that was checkerboard. And you'd open it up. It was, well, Kenner close and play.
Was that the thing where it's Kenner, it's fun?
Yeah.
I remember that.
So that was what I first played records on, was the Kenner close and play. And then they got me a Decca record player that was one of those, self-contained units. It had tubes. It had a reverb knob on it. You could add reverb to your records if you wanted.
I'm a producer.
I used to jack the hell out of that reverb.
I bet.
Of course, it was all tube. I had to wait for it to warm up and all that. But I used to play all my Walt Disney records on that thing. But, when you're in that era, that's what you played stuff on,
Right.
I can't even remember the name of my record player. I remember it was orange and white, but I don't remember what it was.
In that Decca record player, I've tried to look for it, and I have never, ever found one. Because you would lift, it was black and white, and you'd lift the top up, and the inside of the top was all checkerboard, and it said Decca. It was so freaking cool.
I'm surprised it doesn't show up on eBay. Just about everything.
I've never seen one.
Huh.
Oh, that's weird. But anyway, during that whole time period, I'd hang out down the street with my friends and stuff. And every now and then we never really went into their house, but I got into their house one day, and I was probably 10, and I was just record crazy because I'd been playing records since I was 3, 4. That's all I ever did was play records. And I just was at their house, and I went through their 45s, and then all of a sudden I saw the Beatles, I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You 45s. And they had the picture sleeves with the Beatles on it. Now, before that, my parents listened to Lawrence Welk. Crap like that. They watched Lawrence Welk on Sunday. Nothing wrong with Lawrence Welk. Just saying. But I didn't really have any experience or access to anything like popular music at all. My first exposure was She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand. And I don't know what made me pull those 245s out. Maybe it was the photo, because I thought, well, those guys look cool.
What was the B-side of She Loves You?
I thought it was a George Harrison song, wasn't it? Wasn't it George? Thank You, Girl, or something?
I don't remember. That's Lennon and McCartney.
I can't remember. So anyway, I got that 45, and I said, can I borrow this to play it? Why? I don't know. So I took it home, and they let me borrow it. And oh my God, it was one of those moments like we were talking before. The heavens opened up. I'd never heard anything like it. And I think I played I Want to Hold Your Hand first, and I thought, oh my God, what is this? So I played that for like a week nonstop, and I took it back and didn't want to give it back, but I gave it back. But I was able to get, what was the flip side? I'll Get You. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the flip side of I Want to Hold Your Hand?
I saw her standing there.
Okay. But anyway, I was able to get some money from my folks. So I drove downtown Marion. They had a Kresge's down there. And I didn't know what they had, but they had, well, this is the CD version. They had the Beatles 62 to 66. So I rode down on my bike and bought that. And it was the 2-record set. That was the first real album that I ever got. And I just soaked this up, and everything's been it's just been chaos ever since. The second record that I got was Magical Mystery Tour. My cousin bought it for my birthday. There you go. And that too changed my life. I was just total Beatle crazy. And by that time they'd been broken up for like 5 years. So, but still, it was all new to me, and I'd never heard anything like it. That was one thing that changed my life. There were other things later. That's where it started, though. It all goes back to the Beatles and Cheap Trick,
who are also very connected.
George Martin on All Shook Up.
Well, just the way that the Cheap Trick composes and the way they think.
Mm-hmm.
Very Beatles-esque.
Oh, yeah.
So, Peter, do you have something else to share with the class?
I do. I'll maybe kind of do a shotgun thing here. So now it's 1970, 71, and I'm rating my sister's stuff, and I pull out an album that has become so seminal that it may be one of the most listened to in my entire collection. It was also a gateway album, and it led me down a whole bunch of other paths that to this day have remained extremely important. That record was the original Decca MCA recording of Jesus Christ Superstar. When I got that and started digging through it, I was just blown away. The variety of tunes, all the different singers, the incredible compositions and lyrics from Rice and Lloyd Webber, the instrumentation, the way they played, the heaviness of some tracks, the super melodic sense of some other tracks. And then I heard Ian Gillan, and that changed everything. And as soon as I heard him cut loose in Gethsemane, it was a different world. Mm-hmm. Everything was different.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wasn't aware that he had joined Deep Purple. I knew Hush, and there's the 71. That's the U.S. cover. Yeah.
I had that.
And
the booklet and everything.
Yep, I've still got it with the libretta and everything that was with it and everything. And so that led me to find out who the singer was, that he was now in Deep Purple. Deep Purple was the band that did Hush that I loved earlier.
With Rod Evans.
With a different singer.
Yeah.
Then I found In Rock, and now everything changed. Everything changed. Ian Pace just had his birthday a couple days ago. Happy birthday, Ian, again.
Yeah.
My oldest boy's named Ian. I play Ludwig Silver Sparkle drums. There's no mistaking where those influences came from. And Deep Purple became one of my 3 most important bands of my entire career. All stemming from this rock opera from 1970.
Yeah, I love it. I used to play the hell out of it in the Air Force.
Just absolutely stunning. And I could listen to it top to bottom, straight through, never skip a track. A lot don't know that many of the musicians were Joe Cocker's Grease Band members, and great players. Some of the most ridiculous bass playing. Just really got me into the harder and heavier stuff. And then as soon as I discovered In Rock, it was game on. So
I think the bass player is John Gustafson, if I'm not mistaken.
He's one of them. There's 3 or 4, and they don't delineate which tracks they're on, which is
right.
So, and there's been a couple drummers in there as well. But it looked like, let's see, Neil Hubbard, Alan Spencer, J. Peter Robinson, who did a lot of the keyboard stuff.
He ends up in Brand X in 1977.
Yeah. So, I mean, just an absolutely transitional record. And it's one of those, life was one way before it, and it was different after.
Oh, if you like him, you got to check out an album called Quatermass.
I've got that.
Phenomenal. They're a trio, and it sounds symphonic.
It was came out on Harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that.
Insane on that. Do you have it on CD?
Yeah, I'll go pull it real quick.
It's great. Quatermass. They only made one. They're another one of those one and done albums. You know, it's funny, Pete. I heard Ian Gillan on JCS before I heard Deep Purple. I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't know that he was in Deep Purple.
And you're right on Gethsemane. Man, he's insane.
His version's untouchable. I don't care who you put out there to do it. Can't touch him.
When he sings "You Have Made It," a Dead of Thieves. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, check this cover out. Pterodactyls.
Let me take it out of the.
What is that? That's pterodactyls inside some sort of a cage or something. I've never been able to figure that out.
It depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
It looks like two skyscrapers, but then they're. I don't know what it is.
They don't call him J. Peter Robinson on that. They just call him Peter Robinson.
But this originally came out on Harvest, EMI.
Yeah, Harvest. Yeah, I've got that too.
This is the.
It's kind of rare, I think, as far as getting it on CD.
This is.
Was about 73, if I'm not.
This is German pressing from like 1990.
Oh yeah, you can't tell. I'll go to Discogs and see what year it came out.
But I highly recommend this if you like.
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
Holy crap, Rand! I'm a prog professional, for crying out loud. I can't win in prog trivia, but I've got a lot of prog.
I'm going to do easier questions.
I was doomed.
Marcos.
Anytime you have Tim Derling in there, you're doomed.
Hey, Pete, look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Pete Robinson right in the middle.
There he is. Yeah, this is phenomenal.
And their discography is pretty big for one album.
That's it. They just put the one record out.
It's 1970. I had it on according to this, it's on well, it doesn't say, but yeah, it's Harvest. You're right. Yeah, 1970.
But if you can stream it or check it out.
Who are these two guys? Who's the other guys? Okay, they got a whole bunch of different people playing orchestras type stuff. A lot of cello players. Yeah, Mick Underwood on drums. Pete Robinson on keyboards. A lot of violas. There's, like I say, it sounds symphonic because they have all these guests. There's an entire orchestra on it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a prog symphonic masterpiece, and then they just like, okay, we're done.
That was it.
We did that. Now on to something else.
Yeah, well worth looking into.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump into my next one here if I can.
Yeah, do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's okay. So later that same year, in October of 70, by this time I had already had many, let's just say, slight conflicts with my parents to allow me to stay up late enough to watch This Is Tom Jones, and absolutely fell in love with him from the TV show, and couldn't believe the performances, how amazing he was. So this came out in October 1st of 1970. My birthday is the 12th of October, and I remember I got it on my birthday. So I got this for my 8th birthday on Decca Records and Parrot in London. Remember that? Parrot Records?
Yeah.
And
the Zombies.
This is Tom Jones and the album I Who Have Nothing. To me, this is one of the most important records in my entire collection. It is an absolute masterpiece from top to bottom. The combination of rock songs and ballads, and it's some of the best singing I've ever heard. And Tom has always been the standard of which I rate any singers. Daughter of Darkness, I Have Dreamed. He did a killer version of Lodi. His version of Try a Little Tenderness is epic. It is enormous. Yeah, there's the show. Also with one of the greatest backing bands you will ever hear on TV. That studio band, Buddy Rich even called them out. He said they are just one of the best bands in the world. I Who Have Nothing, What the World Needs Now Is Love, is a tremendous version. And my favorite on the whole record, his version of Brother, Can You Spare a Dime? finishing out with Seesaw. The orchestration, the drumming on this is insane.
See those songs.
It's so lavish. It is so perfect.
He's good. He's really good.
It's just so perfect.
Fun fact, did you know he almost joined Black Sabbath?
No.
He knows Tony Iommi really well, and Tony Iommi almost put him into Black Sabbath, but he ended up going with Glenn Hughes.
Are you serious?
That would have been weird.
I am serious.
That would have been weird.
I think he might be on the Tony Iommi solo album. Let me check. I think he is. It's called Iommi. I have it. But I'm going to check, make sure.
So you check on that. I'm going to finish my last one here.
Go ahead.
So my last one, it is Thanksgiving 1972. I am at my aunt and uncle's house, grandparents, cousins, everybody's there. I had started drumming by then. I had two older cousins who both play guitar. One more casually, the other one had played with Buddy Rich's band and a bunch of other people out in Vegas back in the day. And they are substantially older than me. And they said, "Oh, you're drumming now. Here." And we went into their room and they pulled a record out and they put on a song that absolutely changed my entire life. It was the live version of Toad from Wheels of Fire by Cream on their 68 release.
Yeah, good stuff.
I was absolutely upside down. I'd never heard anything like it. As soon as we got back home, the holiday was over. I insisted my mother take me out. And I bought Fresh Cream. And Fresh Cream's a desert island record for me in so many ways. It's my favorite Cream album. It's my favorite Eric Clapton album. It's one of the greatest drumming albums. And the fact that there's this weird connections, and I know it's only important to me, Peter and the Wolf had the word Peter in it.
Yeah.
And Ginger's name is Peter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Peter Ginger. Yeah. And so I'm like, cool. So it's just every song is a classic. And now I've got a compilation of the UK and the US version. So it's got the extra songs, Wrapping Paper, The Coffee Shop, and
Nice.
I Feel Free, NSU, Sleepy Time, Dreaming, Sweet Wine, Spoonful, Cat Squirrel, From 4 Until 8, Rolling and Tumbling, I'm So Glad, Toad, Wrapping Paper, and The Coffee Shop.
I love Cream. Love him.
Oh, my God.
I gave up on Clapton after his first solo album, but I love Clapton.
Game over. It's one of the greatest records, and my drumming changed overnight, and I went back, and then I heard the Mayall and the Blues Breakers and went back that way, and I've not been a fan of Eric since he left, and Ginger was never really quite the same, although he was okay. There's just something magical about that record. No filler, no avant-garde stuff, just super heavy, bluesy, ballsy perfection. And it's just one of the great records of all time.
Did you know there's two UFOs on Wheels of Fire? There's one.
No, didn't look that close.
Yep, I've been staring at that for years. Nobody knows it's there. It's hard to find.
So
I love the inside of it, though. God, it's unbelievable. Blacklight.
Right.
Yeah.
So Peter and the Wolf, Jesus Christ Superstar, Tom Jones, I Who Have Nothing, and Fresh Cream from 1966.
Can never do this. Here's another one there. See it?
No, you keep moving it. Oh, yeah, okay.
They snuck it in. They snuck it in. They didn't want anybody to see it unless they were on acid.
And just for giggles, since we did mention Tom Jones has had some of the most incredible album covers known to man.
Well, you do like to do those.
Tom Jones at Caesar's Palace. I mean, does this guy have hand or what?
Right.
He's got so much hand, he's coming out of his glove.
You know, he's thinking it's good to be the king.
I mean, what is going on here, guys? I'm not sure. Peter, what's your thought of Rescue Me, this album?
It's under thigh.
But the Caesar's Palace is a pretty good show. The version of Resurrection Shuffle on there is devastating.
Well, those are probably the dancers that dance there.
I don't know, but I don't know. I'm just more concerned about this one.
Well, look, Tom's got an interesting career because, you know, when he started to go out of phase, he floundered for a long time. And I mean, he can literally sing anything, and that's part of his problem. He can sing anything. And
he likes heavy metal.
Well, what's that?
He likes heavy metal. He's a fan of it.
Well, look, if you go back to his show, his duets with Janis Joplin, Little Richard is one of the great performances ever.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young.
Yeah. He is a rocker at heart.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
On Parrot Records, there it is.
Well, there's always this wonderful competition, the Welsh connection between Sir Tom and Dame Shirley Bassey, who, if you haven't checked,
Goldfinger,
she just did a version of Diamonds Are Forever earlier this year at 85 years old.
I did not know that.
And she crushed.
Tom's 85? Or
What's
Shirley's
that?
85. Who's 85?
Shirley Bassey's 85.
The singer of Goldfinger.
Yeah, she's great.
She crushes it. She's a freak of nature. And there was always fun competition between the two of them as to who had the bigger voice. Because they both are just absolutely epic, both Welsh, the whole deal. And now one's a sir and the other's a dame, and you know, gotta love that. And I've got a lot of Welsh history because Jones is Welsh. So
what are you gonna do?
Those are the records I picked that changed my life.
I'll share one more for the hell of it.
Wow.
So back in 1979, we used to ride our bikes around. And this is one of those records that I got in 1979, and I recorded it on my little Sanyo boombox. So I can't exactly remember where I heard it, but it was probably on WNCI, which is just a popular radio station. But when I heard it, like I said, it just opened up, the skies opened, and I had one of those aha moments. Because it wasn't too far off from the Beatles, because that's what I was into. And it was My Sharona by the Knack.
I knew it. I was going to throw that at you. I was going to say it's the Knack. I was right.
It totally, when I heard this, got the record, played it to death.
I was going to throw that out there.
You talked to those guys, right?
Yeah, Prescott and Niles.
Did you bring up that thing about Cheech Marin's My Scrotum?
No, we talked about My Bologna, though, a bit. But Prescott Niles was cool because Peter Kerr and I could have kept him on for another hour. We only had him for 15 minutes, and he talked for 2 hours.
One of the great records of all time.
It is. And then the other thing that happened to me, was it 81 or it must have been 82? Same kind of thing. Must have been rock radio somewhere, but they played also something else. I don't think it's too far off, kind of. But considering what was out at the time, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And it was Duran Duran, Hungry Like a Wolf. Because when I heard that, I just thought, holy crap, how fresh and new is that? Don't forget, I'm living in Little Marion, Ohio. I only have so much
Their videos were incredible. They just went all out on their videos for MTV.
Well, I would suggest
this is
that
the 2 CD version of it.
a whole generation would think differently about Duran Duran had they experienced them only auditorily.
Right.
If they'd experienced those records just as albums as we did in the 70s, there'd be a way more love and a lot more praise for how good they were, because you know, the videos had a tendency to make bands look kind of silly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So
look at Crazy About the Heat with David Lee Roth. That's all you need to see.
Well, but that fits his personality.
But the thing with Duran Duran, though,
crazy anyway.
The girls, it was almost like Beatlemania again.
Right.
And that wasn't their fault, and that kind of overtook the music. This is a brilliant record.
Most of them are.
Okay.
I've never heard it.
Oh,
I like the power.
Rand.
Yeah.
I like the
You
power.
gotta
station.
listen to Rio.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard it a million times, that song. But I'm talking about
the Wreck album.
Did you ever get into the Power Station? Now they were good.
Yeah, I like Power Station, but I thought Arcadia was even better. Arcadia, I thought, was the Duran Duran album that should have been a Duran Duran.
Hey, you know,
album.
it's funny. Asia Alpha was going to be called Arcadia, and Duran Duran says, we've got this already. You've got to come up with something else.
Asia Alpha should have been labeled I Don't Know What We're Doing.
It should have been labeled John Wetton's looking for the door, but hasn't found it yet. Hey, guess what? I found that story we were talking about. Look at this.
I have no idea what that says.
I have no idea what that says.
This is Tony Iommi. He says, I've met Tom a few times. We were talking one day and he said, did you ever see that thing in the press about me joining you guys? I said, yes, I did. And he said, it's not a bad idea, is it? But it turned out it was an April Fool's joke that Tom Jones had done in Kerrang magazine or something.
Yeah, I would have never seen that pairing.
It was never going to happen.
No.
Another record I'm just going to throw in for the hell of it that I freaking think's a masterpiece. And you might not think it might be a masterpiece, but I do think so. But the Monkees, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones, I think this is absolutely brilliant.
Is that the one with Daily Nightly?
The other day, it's a all of them are good.
The thing is back in the 80s, you couldn't find their stuff at all. This is before. It was all before the Rhino reissue campaign. So I might have found like a couple of records of Goodwill, but you know, all these records were played on crappy little Decca stereos with checkerboard vinyl, you know.
Yeah.
And they're all trash. You could
with
never
cartridges
find one
that looked more like squares than points.
I was able to pick this up in the bin. Like I said, this is pre-Rhino reissue series.
Is Daily Nightly on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That synthesizer work on that is so cool.
So great. But you couldn't get a good copy, so I got a shitty copy. And I made a cassette of it, and I was playing, and it just sounded horrible. But even though it was beat up and sounded horrible, any of those records, Headquarters, Peter,
right,
Pisces, Head, any of those, they were just great.
Don't forget the More of the Monkees.
Headquarters was the first album where they played their own instruments. They didn't have any help.
Yeah, I've got the 3 CD sessions box, which is absolutely a must-have.
I've seen Head twice. Craziest movie in the world.
One of my favorite all-time movies.
It's insane.
It's brilliant.
I love the ending when Frank Zappa's walking along with that Brahma bull.
And
where did he get that thing?
He goes, "You guys are really white."
When you pull out songs like Words, one of the most underrated songs in their catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Davy Jones.
And it's got Star Collector, which is one of my top 3 favorite Monkey songs of all time.
Pleasant Valley Sunday too. I love that song.
And what am I doing hanging around?
I gotta let my dog out.
Yeah, you wouldn't. It's a brilliant record. And as soon as I picked it up, and
There you go.
the only up until that time, Peter, I had my cousin when I was really little. I always liked the Monkees. I always watched their show, the reruns. I was too young to watch them when they originally were on.
Right.
So I saw them like in 1970, 69. They were on Saturday morning. Oh, I loved all of it. Loved all of it. And my cousin gave me I'm Not Your Stepping Stone 45 that she bought.
One of the heaviest songs of the era.
I played that 45 to death.
Just stepping stone.
And I don't know what made me just decide to. Well, she let me borrow. She had the albums too, and she let me borrow them. That's how it originally started.
Well,
so
my sisters had all of them.
Yeah, but I ended up buying. I've got on vinyl. I was able to find mint copies of them and mono copies and all that.
Well,
eventually,
the original song, albums were on Call Gems Records, right? Wasn't that a subsidiary of Columbia?
Yeah. Well, yes, that label was built for them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Wait a minute, let me pull something real quick.
And Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart floated that band really well. Wrote damn near and played everything for them.
Right.
Those guys were talented. They were the Lennon and McCartney from America, I thought.
Well, look who else they had. Kirshner had all the great writers. He had Neil Diamond, he had Carole King. It
was Kirshner, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had everybody.
But this is a mono Pisces album.
Would you believe I've never listened to that record, Grant?
Oh my God.
I've never heard it.
Peter, I might have to just yank you off of this discussion real fast. Where's the eject button?
No, I said it, not Peter.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. You need to listen to this record.
I will check it out. I got it on Amazon Prime. I'll check it out.
Did your sister have this one?
Probably not. No.
I never heard of that one.
That's the last one.
It's the last one, yeah.
Oh.
This is a promo. This is not for sale.
Oh, you mean the last one before they stopped?
Yeah, this is the last Monkees record. This is not for sale. I don't think it's a white label.
Because they had that comeback, like Just Us and stuff like that.
I mean, great cover. I think they cut Mike out. Mike's really standing here, if you could see him.
He's in the shadow.
He's on it.
I love what they did at the end of Birds and the Bees. Side one is not as strong, although it's got Daydream Believer on it. But when you get to I'll be back upon my feet.
Welcome back.
P.O. Box 9847.
9842.
P.O. Box 9847.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm thinking yes.
And then of course it's got Valerie. And perhaps my
the
favorite
guitar solo in Valerie is unbelievable.
My favorite unrecognized song is Zoran Zam.
This thing is. Oh, I do see a mark on it. I must have got ripped off.
When I first heard Valerie, I was like, "Who is playing that guitar?"
But this is mono, so it doesn't matter.
Mono's cool.
Call Gems, yeah.
Well, the good thing about mono, right?
Sounds better than early stereo.
Well, the thing is, you can have a mono record that has a scratch on it, but if you push your mono switch, it'll filter out all the pops and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I actually prefer the stereo mixes of the Monkees. I'm an outlier there, and mine are a mix. A couple of things I have both versions. I have my headquarters have a stereo and a mono, and I think the first album I have a stereo and a mono.
God, I feel terrible. I don't own one Monkees album.
They're fun.
Yeah, but Rand, you were probably in that era where you thought that they were just a joke.
No, actually, I didn't. Because at first, I just enjoyed the TV show. I remember when it first started. I was like, I wouldn't miss an episode. It was great.
This cover, though, is absolutely beautiful.
I love that cover.
Yeah.
But this, it's clean as can be. I don't know where I got this.
Grant, is this your album that changed your life?
One of
yours? Okay.
Yeah, he's into honorable mention.
I think
there's a lot of records that changed my life when I was young.
I think I
this was not
all my ammunition in the beginning. I don't know what I was thinking.
This album didn't change my life. Well, I like the cover. I like some of it. I don't think that there's a bad Monkees record.
So they left Peter and Mike off the front cover? That's weird.
So while Grant's gone there, Todd, I'll catch you up. I'll just tell you what my titles were.
Shit.
So the first one was Peter and the Wolf.
Yeah.
And so then Jesus Christ Superstar in 1970.
Oh yeah, I just got my dad's. My dad passed away and left me his records, and I have his. And when I was a kid, man, did I love that record.
Yeah. That one led me down a zillion roads, led me to Deep Purple, led me to everything.
Yeah.
Later that year, Tom Jones, I Who Have Nothing.
Yeah.
Tom's my guy.
Tom Jones's records from that era are so much better than anybody gives him credit for.
The orchestration, the band playing, and they're so well recorded. Yeah, he keeps throwing that up.
That's porn. Sorry.
That's right. Stop you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
That's classy. I kind of like that. It's good to be king. That's what
there's no way in hell this album would have been released today in our woke society.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
That one wouldn't get released.
Go back to that other one, Grant.
Not that one. That one would be.
I see diversity there. I see no problem with that.
That's true.
They're covered up too.
But under the lady's thigh, that's not going to fly.
And then my last one was I discovered Cream and Thanksgiving of 1972. Went back and bought Fresh Cream, and that changed my life.
My best friend loaned me Disraeli Gears, and I just absolutely fell in love with it.
Yeah, what was that?
I picked this up at Amoeba in San Francisco when I was out for a business trip.
More of the Monkees.
That was
Which album has She on it?
Mono. This is a mono. Like I said, I got this at Amoeba. How much was it? $5.99 or something. The cover's absolutely beautiful, and the vinyl record. I think this is a LA. I think this is a West Coast pressing too.
Grant, She opens More of the Monkees.
Great. Look, it's
okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I love the opening vocals on that. They're just so Beatley, Beach Boys type. Great harmonies. She just love the way they just start like that. That's great.
You guys ever been to Amoeba?
I have.
I've been there. I've been to Berkeley and San Francisco.
That would be my ultimate job to work
there for hours. But every time I go there, my girlfriend's with me, and she doesn't want to be there, and so it's a very.
You need to dump her ass. Leave her at the hotel. Leave her at home.
She's in North Carolina right now. She'll see this.
Yeah, but you can't bring her into a record store. That's breaks
yeah,
the
but
code
she's
of
not
man.
going to get in a car in Berkeley either. I mean, that's not fun.
Yeah, I got this for $2. God, I wish I had.
Isn't that weird how they put the price tag over that freaking record company label?
Got this at Half Price Books for $3 in 2010. A nice mono.
I need to listen to that. I've never heard that either.
You guys, sometime in the mornings on More of the Monkees, right? Sometime in the morning. Second time.
Michael country type.
Here's one I got for $4 in 2006. I kept buying them.
That may be my favorite, although it's a tough call.
Guys, every time that I go through the bins and I found the record, it was like mint, and the cover was mint. I would just buy them. I must have 4 or 5 over here that are all the same.
There's 12-step programs for that kind of stuff,
I wanted to mention that I've got a friend that has a record store near here. It's not the one that's closest to my house. It's about 10 miles away. But this is his thing, okay? In his record store, he has a couch, and he brings his dog. So if you bring your girlfriend,
she can sit with the dog.
Place to sit, dog to play with.
I'm gonna buy me a dog.
There it is, boys.
Because I need a friend now. You guys like that one?
Not really.
Yeah. Well, it's all right.
They're all fun.
Weird song.
I like them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin.
I like them all.
Do you guys remember?
I think she's the best. I think she is just awesome.
Do you remember a comp when you were young that came out in like 1970, 71 called A Barrel Full of Monkeys?
Yeah.
That was a 2-record set on Cold Gems. It was like the last hurrah.
Yeah.
And now that record goes for quite a bit of money. But my cousin, when I was a kid, they had that. And we'd be up in a room and we would be playing that. And I Want to Buy Me a Dog. We loved all that stuff.
You guys, you know what monkey song that I like a lot and nobody ever talks about?
No.
It's called A Man Without a Dream. And it's got this really...
It's Davey, right?
Yeah, it's Davey singing. It's got this elaborate horn arrangement and string arrangement, and it's really cheesy, and it just screams 1970 or 1969 or whenever that was. But I love that song. Davey's performance is so
69.
good. Yeah.
If you'll indulge me a second, my sister had a Warner Brother product, because at the time there were K-Tel and all this other stuff, collections of this and that and the other thing.
Yeah.
She had a 4 LP collection, Superstars of the 70s. And this is just a sample of what was on that. School's Out, Summer Breeze, Surf's Up, Sail Away, Both Sides Now, Tightrope Ride, Lonely Days, Fire and Rain, Truckin', Where's the Love? You're the Love the One You're With, Roundabout, Light by Fire, White Rabbit. I mean, it goes on and on. Anticipation, American Woman.
Those are great. Those are all great songs.
Tumbling Dice, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. That's where I first heard Hush. First Time I Ever Saw Your Face. Foxy Lady, Whole Lot of Love. And the crazy thing is, I listened to this record so many times, I still hear the running order in my head.
Yeah.
So if I hear a song, I'm waiting for the next one that was on the LP.
You should make a playlist.
The fact that Alice Cooper and School's Out would fade out, and all of a sudden Summer Breeze would start. Every time it goes, I'm waiting for Summer Breeze. But my God, what a collection! You know,
I saw Seals and Cross live.
It was I just ate that record up.
I saw Seals and Crofts live on the Diamond Girl tour. It was great to see. They did Hummingbird. Oh my God, Hummingbird's my favorite song by them.
What year was that?
73.
Maybe a little bit too early for Porcaro.
Can we get any more geeky?
Because Jeff Porcaro played drums with Seals and Crofts. Oh, there you go.
That's the Birds, the Bees, and the Monkeys.
You could stare at that cover forever trying to figure out everything that's in those.
You know what this is, right? COM 103.
It's mono.
Yeah, it's the mono Birds and Bees and the Monkeys.
Oh, we doing?
Which
I don't think I've heard that either.
Just throwing it out there. You want to get
Became
geeky?
a monkey show.
Monkey geeky.
We only got geeky once when we saw an article how much and how rare a certain version of Elvis's Speedway was. And my sister has Speedway on its original print. And we went and looked and the serial numbers didn't match. And she was very sad.
Oh.
But it's still a great record. That's
Yeah.
how I got it. That's how I got into Elvis. She had all of his soundtrack stuff.
This was like, remember this? Monkey Business on Rhino, one of the first little comps with all the had rarities to some steam engine was on.
Yeah, that comes before Missing Links.
Yes. And it was a picture disc. Sounds horrible.
Yeah, all picture discs sound horrible.
They were outselling everybody.
But I do like this picture.
Everybody.
I like that picture.
Picture discs of today are a little better. They figured out how to do it. They're not as bad as they used to be. They used to be really, really bad. But I bought that Yes Tormato a couple of years ago at Record Store Day, and it doesn't sound too bad. Oh, you got a shiny one.
Did you get?
My
Todd,
sister's had that one.
Todd, did your Tormato have a gatefold?
The picture disc, no.
Oh, I got a gatefold.
Okay.
But
And-
Peter,
and
you
where
know
I
this
got it-
record, right?
Yeah.
The reason I got it.
I
The
saw
reason I
that
got
in my
it-
sister's collection, and just the cover freaked me out.
Well, the reason I got it is because it's 180 gram vinyl, so they redid it and they give you a nice gatefold. It's pretty
Okay.
cool.
That's cool.
What a great record this is.
They don't
Guys-
have bad records.
I didn't know you could get head on vinyl.
Well, this is the original album.
That's the original album. Yeah.
The original ones were like this.
Yeah, they were mirror.
But what a great! This is like my second favorite Monkees record.
You guys, I saw them in 2011, the last tour with Davey, and they played 41 songs, and they played everything on Head. They played everything on Head except for Gravy. But not all together, not all in a row, but like there was like a big like set in the middle of the concert with a bunch of Head songs, and then whatever ones they didn't play, they played mixed in the set. It was great.
I think I bought this for 15. Yeah.
The thing about my sisters is they were both very traditional, and that if a band started to become kind of too artsy or too experimental, they were done. And they got to a certain point. So when music started to become a little more proggy and, you know, maybe the more psychedelia and all that kind of stuff, but the beauty is they could just gravitate to other stuff. So then they just started jumping into James Taylor and Carly Simon, and, you know, they could just go down that rabbit hole, and you could spend your lifetime listening to just nothing but artists like that from the 70s. And then, you know, I started to discover the Floyds and all that other stuff. So, you know, they weren't interested in my collection at all, which was just fine with me. And I remember my sister, my closest one to me, she's 3 years older. She bought a bunch of stuff that I took from her that changed my life. I remember I went and bought a record. She bought REO Speedwagon's Live You Get What You Play For.
Yeah.
She didn't like it. And I took it back and just absolutely ate it up. And I'm like, this is cool shit.
I like that record.
Oh, what a great album.
What do you guys think of the very first one?
I don't dislike it. They're not developed yet.
I don't know, but I like Kevin Cronin. Whatever you say.
The thing is about the singer for the first one, Terry Luttrell. He ends up doing 4 albums with a group called Starcastle. Sounds nothing like REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, I've heard Starcastle. Starcastle over here.
Starcastle, I love Starcastle. Big fan. I'm friends with him on Facebook, you know. But the way he sings on REO Speedwagon 1 is so different than Starcastle. It's like it's a different guy.
Okay, Grant.
Yeah.
I am going to do this, and I will service one of our guests. And if you'll allow me to do it, I will do it unshamelessly. Ernesto says everyone stole their moves from Davy Jones.
Oh, yeah.
And I will tell you, we all learned.
Oh, God. What's happening here?
That's pretty good.
We all learned how to shake the tambourines and the maracas just like Davy.
You know, that's going to be a meme somewhere. A GIF.
That was for you, Ernesto. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Ernesto, what's happening tonight?
Yeah, good to see you, Ernesto.
Probably more like Sammy Davis Jr., really, when you think about it. That guy was amazing talent.
Hey, you guys, can I do one more?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember this. I may be the oldest one here, but I think.
Oh, I got it.
What? How old are you, Todd?
58.
I'll be 60 in October.
Okay,
I'll be 70 in September.
See, you're not even close.
Well, I guess I'm the youngest one.
So this is early 70s. Are you guys familiar with Deodato?
Yes.
He's a fantastic
2001 Space Odyssey.
Yes, and that's the 45 I have. I liked it so much, I wrote my name on it, and I wrote the name of it in cursive when I first learned how to write in cursive.
Right.
So that's my original. But
I can't even do that anymore, Todd. The internet has killed my handwriting.
No. Oh yeah, I've seen that record. I've seen those records.
Deodato 2, and this is another one that came later, Whirlwinds. These records are so good. They're really great. He's a fantastic keyboardist, just the best electric piano player I've ever heard. And they're so much fun. And they do he does like on this is the one that has 2001 on it.
Yeah.
And
I remember that got a lot of radio airplay back in the day.
This one has Nights in White Satin and Rhapsody in Blue on it. And this one has
I can play Gershwin. Holy cow.
Yeah, this one has Moonlight Serenade and Ave Maria on it.
Ernesto Ramos says I have those
in a funky jazz arrangement. And they're so much fun and they're so good.
You really have those on 8-track?
Wow.
Damn.
What?
Ernesto has those on 8-track.
Oh, he has Deodato
Yeah.
on 8-track. That's pretty cool.
You can still find that for like $1 if you look. Should I buy it for $1?
You should buy them for $10. But anyway,
okay.
These were all on CTI Records, and CTI was run by this guy. I don't know if you can see that. His name was Creed Taylor. See how he writes his name in there? And he was just a guy who just could really find great talent. And I'm trying to think of another CTI artist. I think Hubert Laws is a CTI artist.
I think so.
Bunch of people from early 70s, and those are all of the CTI records are just unbelievably good recordings.
You know who else is on CTI? You know who else is? This was on CTI.
Was it?
And this.
I don't think it was.
Both of these records were on CTI.
I don't think they were.
Now this was the first one, and then this one came out.
There used to be all these rumors going around. Oh, Tom Jones is losing his voice. His doctors told him he has to stop screaming or he'll never sing again. Wrong. Wrong.
I'll be back.
Tom never had any problem singing.
Go away.
He still can sing.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
But
yeah, I remember his kind of big comeback. You know, I remember he was on Arsenio, and the thing that I liked about Arsenio is that they were really good at music production for performing bands on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Their performances were absolutely amazing. They had great sound, good staging, good lighting. There's a ton of great performances that were on there. He came out and did "If I Only Knew" from the Lead and How to Swing It. That was kind of his big comeback. And he's had another performance on there that I just think is just epic, only because I think it was his first North American performance ever was Jeff Beck when he did Slingshot with Terry Bozzio and Tony Hymas.
Oh, wow. That was on Arsenio?
Oh, it's
man.
It's violently dangerous. It's so cool. Terry's just maniacal.
If anybody's put that online, I'll have to see.
It's out there. Yeah, it's awesome, and they're just killing it. And the funny joke is that Arsenio comes out. He goes, "What is it, Barrett? Bozzio? I don't know which one it is. I don't know what it is." He's, Terry's on drums. He's, and like I said, Beck never did U.S. TV.
Yeah.
And here he was. And you're like, hey, it's Jeff Beck. And Tony, and that's, Guitar Shop's such a great record.
Not as good as this record. Tom Jones, Something About You, Baby, I Like.
I'm just starting his autobiography, so I gotta get through that and get all my little nuggets.
Can I do some more, Grant?
Knock yourself out.
Grant's like, what the hell? Okay. In order of being blown away as an upcoming guitar player, I think we already talked about this group a lot, but this is the box set.
Right.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
This has everything they ever did. This Live Volume 2 is on here. Just, oh my God. Phenomenal.
There's some great live bootlegs that are running around, and it's got the definitive version of Crossroads. And I'm trying to remember which show it was. I
always thought the definitive version of Crossroads was Wheels of Fire.
No, there's a bootleg one. That is.
Have you ever heard Jeff Berlin play that solo on bass guitar?
No.
Oh my God. It's unbelievable. You have to hear that. It's on an album called Pump It. Okay. And then this changed my life.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Fell in love with Jimmy Page. Just, guy's a freaking genius. What can you say? And then this guy.
Oh, yeah.
He changed my life. We all know there's nothing more to be said about Jimmy. And then later on, this guy.
Right.
And
okay, so
I have Blow by Blow and this in 5.1 SACD. Just incredible.
Really?
Okay. So between the four of us,
yeah, it's on Analog Productions. But
how many hands prefer Blow by Blow?
Over
Wired?
Wired. Blow by Blow or Wired?
Wired every time. Wired.
You two didn't vote.
Well, that's because I hold Wired there and back and Blow by Blow all equally.
I have problems
I can't
with
choose
Blow by Blow.
either. I don't have any problems with Blow by Blow.
Well, you know,
I'll tell
you what my problem is with Blow by Blow. George Martin recorded Jeff Beck's guitar directly through the board, and it sounds like shit. That's why I don't like it.
The
music's great.
I never thought
His playing is great. It's just the sound. And when they did Wired, he didn't do that. He just let him use a Marshall amp.
Guys, I didn't vote because I have yet to really dive into Jeff Beck.
Oh my God!
You could spend the rest of your natural life going through Jeff Beck's catalog.
He's the best.
Yeah, I plan to, but I just haven't done it yet. I haven't heard a whole album.
You know, a guy that doesn't need a singer, this kind of guitar player that doesn't need a singer, in my opinion, Jeff Beck is the king. Nobody can touch this guy. I
kind of assumed that because
he improves on every album.
Don't forget, Eddie Van Halen did the same shtick for years. Jeff Beck is one of the only few guitar players I can point out that has improved over time and is constantly evolving. Eddie Van Halen stopped in 1978, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
that'll piss off a lot of people. He was good at what he did, but Jeff Beck is the all-time greatest rock guitar player.
I agree. And I heard him in the Yardbirds when they were on TV on a show called Hullabaloo. They were doing Shape of Things. And, I can't think of it right now. Heart Full of Soul.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a Fender Telecaster and he's trying to sound like a sitar.
Yeah.
You guys,
brilliant.
I will say this though, in defense of Eddie, just in case we get hate mail.
Well, I love Eddie, but he was never an influence on me because I can't play like that.
Van Halen though is a band, and so if Eddie Van Halen made solo guitar records, I think we might see him.
Well, he did that thing with Brian May, that Starfleet project.
Yeah, that barely counts.
That's barely.
If Eddie Van Halen made solo guitar records over the course of a couple of decades,
there you go.
I think that you probably would have seen
that
happen.
in your reach. How did
Rand, I've got everything within my reach because I am a professional.
I guess so.
And if there needs to be a prop, I have them already.
Amazing. So there's a tune on there called.
What did I buy that for?
$5.98. Yeah. It's only got 3 songs.
In 1999, I found it. You never see this.
There's a song on there called "Let Me Out." Eddie Van Halen breaks a string, and he keeps playing, and you can hear his guitar just go.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like, well.
No, I like that record. I just don't think it counts as an Eddie Van Halen.
No, you're right
because
record, it's only 3 songs.
But I do like that record.
But his solo in "Beat It" is.
I wish I still had it.
You just don't see this every day.
Yeah.
And I bought this in '99 for $5, and I thought, Jesus, that's a lot of money.
Did you know that was a one take?
I wonder how much this is now.
Did that one take on "Beat It." Walked in, plugged in, played, and left.
I always thought that the coolest one-take guitar solo story is Trevor Rabin on "Owner of a Lonely Heart." He came in; it was cold outside, and he came in, and his hands were cold, and he was late. And they put the guitar in his hand, and he said, I'm too cold, I can't do it. I my hands need to warm up. And they're like, well, just try it. And that was his first take. And everybody liked the way it sounded, so they kept it. That's kind of why that solo sounds the way it does. Is because Trevor Horn was like, it's great.
Do you guys know the early version of a pitch shifter on that to make it sound like fifths?
Mm-hmm. Do you guys know this record?
No.
I know of it. I've never heard it.
I don't like that guy at all. I don't know what it is. I just
don't
can't
know.
get
I thought I'd
I can't
share
get
Which
into
one
Bob
again? I'm
Seger.
sorry, Grant, I missed
It's Bob Seger's system, Noah.
Noah? I never heard of that one.
Hmm.
I know the blue one.
It's on Capitol.
I know the blue album.
Well, this is after that, I think.
The Bob Seger system is just blue. It's all blue, like Pete's shirt.
Yeah, all kinds of shit.
I'm
You know,
representing
when I die-
representing the Beatles White Album today, guys.
Well, at least you got a shirt on today, Rand. That's all that matters.
Wait. Oh God.
So let me ask this, because you just brought the name came up.
What name? Bob Seger?
Bob Seger. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
what's with the kind of collective hate for Seger in the contrarian world?
I don't understand that. I'm not a Bob Seger fan, but I think he's a solid guy. I mean, he's
Really?
good records.
they-
They're a little more, you know, I don't listen to a lot of stuff that's that, I don't want to insult it, but it's I don't listen to a lot of stuff that's that meat and potatoes, you know, but they're good albums. He's a good performer, great
He's a
voice,
great singer. I'll
good
give him that.
songwriter. He sings good. I mean, I don't love those albums, but I can't imagine saying, "Oh, I hate Bob Seger." But I know what you're talking about. I know what
Who
you're talking
hates-
about.
But who hates Bob Seger?
Oh, Martin.
Yeah, there's
Martin
a real cloud over Bob Seger's name.
I don't know. I think he put out good records. I mean, whether
There's
you
a,
like them or not.
there's a delineation between night moves and to the end of his career and pre-night moves. So
I have heard a lot of people say that.
if you go to Live Bullet, where he's doing Catmandu and Turn the Page and I've Been Working and Bo Diddley and Beautiful
Hollywood
Loser.
Nights.
Oh God, those crush.
Well, I
Those
love
are-
Hollywood Nights.
Those
Huh.
are good songs.
He's
There's
got
just-
Grand Funk's drummer, doesn't he?
What's that?
Doesn't he use Grand Funk's drummer, Don Brewer?
Not on. Oh, I don't know. Where not on Live Bullet, but
Oh,
no, Live Bullet was 76. You know, the funny thing is that, you know, yeah, later on he's more associated. And again, when you hear a song like a rock in a commercial every 30 seconds and that kind of stuff, you kind of get sick of it and you just you don't want to hear it.
right.
But if you go back and just start listing off all of his hits, you know, and to me, and there's I'm not comparing him because I don't like the other one, but he was Springsteen way before Springsteen ever showed up. The
I don't
full
like
band
Probably true.
with the sax
No,
player, the big strong vocals, the heavy performances, and he was a Midwest guy, and he was a Ann Arbor, Detroit boy. And ironically, his manager's office was across the street from my grandparents' house. So they would sit on their front porch in the 70s, and up would come the limos. And just like it says in the lyrics to Turn the Page, you know, is it a woman or a man? You couldn't tell. They've all got their fur coats on and their hair's down to here. And they started to know who they were. And if they were on the porch, they'd turn and wave. Hello, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. They'd wave back. I never got to see him, unfortunately. They never went through when I was visiting. But, you know, so maybe I have a soft spot for him. But I just kind of didn't understand what the collective dislike was.
Well, I love Hollywood Nights and I love Catmandu, and that's about as far as I go with that guy. But
Well,
I don't hate him. I'm just not a fan.
he gets credit from me for putting Mellotron on Turn the Page, which tells me that on those
It's
earlier
great.
albums, he probably put Mellotron on some more songs too, and maybe I ought to check them out. But
I've never played Noah, so I can't tell you what it's like.
But one of the things that I don't understand is how there can be somebody who doesn't like Bob Seger, but does like Sammy Hagar's solo career. See, that doesn't make sense to me.
I'm not a fan of him either.
Because I don't care for Sammy Hagar's solo career at all, but I don't see how it's better than Bob Seger.
I like Sammy's solo career. I think he hit his prime with, and I got the order wrong, but it's either Standing Hampton in a 3-lock box or 3-lock box with Standing Hampton, whichever one it is. I have preferred those over anything he ever did with Van Halen. I don't own or don't listen to any Van Halen that has Sammy in it, except Judgment Day from Carnal Knowledge is the only song I like with Sammy.
I like some of the Sammy Van Halen stuff. I like 5150 probably the most, but I like Sammy okay. I just don't think that I don't know. I don't.
He was better. He was better at
Turn the
Montrose.
Page on.
Huh?
What album is Turn the Page on?
It's pre-76 because the live version is the seminal version on
Hang
Live
on,
Bullet. Yeah.
Live
I know
Bullet.
what
Trying to
it's
find
on.
out if there's Mellotron and who played it, but I don't know where to look.
It's
Here, I'll
on
look it up.
72, I think.
Yeah, it's got to be early.
Okay,
I
thanks.
guess it's possible that on the original album it was strings.
72. Let me
It's on
find
back
out.
in 72.
Is it Smoke and OPS? Looks like
No, it's not on there.
Lucky Strikes,
Here, I'm popping it up.
Brand New Morning.
Man, I like this because I'm just pop shit up here anytime. Because you just never know. Oh, it's
Not
down.
on
You
Brand-
never know when an image like this may pop up. Or this.
You're not going to shock me. Stop it.
Well, we know when you do it.
Ernesto's eyeballs have burned out.
He
of his
does a
brain.
version of If I Were a Carpenter by Bobby Darin.
Rock Daydream Nation. Only singer for Van Halen is DLR.
Where is Rock Daydream Nation at?
I've never seen his show. I probably should look, huh?
Okay, here we go. This has got Turn the Page on it.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that one.
I see it right there, yeah.
Yeah.
But not according to this. It's just back in 72 in Rosalie, so I guess hang on.
But that's the album.
And like
Turn
I
the Page is
said,
on.
he's a different performer because I think Night Moves comes out right after.
Okay.
Night Moves is 77.
I got you.
And it's a different band. I like everything he's done, but that first part is just Pete breaks into a Tom Jones medley.
I don't see the word Mellotron anywhere.
They may have even used a Fender Rhodes. Sounds to me more like a Fender Rhodes.
Keyboard player. I can tell you what the keyboard player is playing. It's right here. It's where can I say it? I just saw it. Dying. Electric piano, RMI, organ, and piano.
It's a Fender Rhodes. It's got that natural reverb to it. That natural.
There's a tremolo in a Rhodes.
Yeah, it's
that
very
side.
It's
You
very
can hear it really good on Jeff Beck Blow by Blow, where he's just about ready to do Scatterbrain. It goes back and forth through your ears. I love that.
Yeah, Max Middleton made a career on a Fender Rhodes.
Yeah, right. Jeff Beck, Rough and Ready.
Peter, where are you?
Well, not you, the other Peter. Okay. He keeps commenting. Where is he?
There's Mellotron on Leonard Skinner's Tuesday's Gone.
Yep.
And Freebird.
Yep.
And
This record.
Imagine that's played by Billy Campbell.
You guys heard this record? If I can bring it up.
Okay, so let me ask this. I saw this on a post the other day. Which version? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that looks like Lucky Strike.
Yeah, have you heard this record? This is a really good record.
Yes, it is.
That's one of those early ones. But
what does OPs mean? I don't know.
Oh shit! I used to know.
OPS, I mean, smoking OPS.
Wow, now I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
It's a trivia question. It just became a trivia question.
Smoking other people's songs.
Oh, it's a covers album.
Yeah, but
that's right. I said he did. But
it's good though. Yeah, he did. If I Were Carpenter, he does Bo Diddley. Who Do You Love?
Right.
It's
So
good though.
I was watching a post where they were talking about Terry Bozzio and him playing some skunk funk with the Brecker Brothers on Heavy Metal Bebop.
It's another album I've never heard.
Oh my goodness. If you like Jeff Beck or any of that kind of stuff, Heavy Metal Bebop's a must-own.
Is it Mike Stern on that?
No. I don't think so.
Who plays guitar?
It's Randy and Michael Brecker, Bozzio.
Ray Gomez? It's got to be one of those guys.
Let me get it. Hold on.
I always thought it was Mike Stern. Maybe I'm wrong.
Wikipedia. Okay, American Jazz. Blah 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 blah. Personnel. Randy, Michael, Barry Finnerty.
Oh, never heard of him.
Neil Jason's on bass. Michael's American jazz guitarist. He works with Miles Davis, Crusaders, Brecker Brothers, Herbert Laws. So yeah, more of a real strong jazz guy. Oh, so if you don't know that came out in '78.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in the bins back then, but I didn't think much to buy it.
It's really cool. Well, the argument is that they were saying that Terry's Some Skunk Funk is his song, but Billy Cobham had done it on a funky tide of things a couple of years earlier.
Just 2 days ago, Terry Bozzio is interviewing Billy Cobham. I saw it on.
I saw it. Yeah, he's at the.
But I didn't watch it yet.
Yeah, I already watched it. He's at.
Oh, was it good?
They're at the Drum Channel Studios.
Did they talk about what you just said?
No, someone in the comments said Terry and Brecker or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, wait a second, Billy played it first."
Wow. I guess Terry probably avoided that.
Yeah, I saw Billy at a drum clinic in 1977 or 78. I still have his autographed Tama photo with the 3 bass drums or whatever he had at the time.
Bozzio's nuts.
No, this is Billy Cobham.
Oh, Billy Cobham. Yeah, Mob Vishnu Orchestra, probably my favorite jazz fusion band ever.
Yeah, and if you like that, you'd like heavy metal bebop.
I'll give it a.
It's very typical Breckers.
Do you guys want to see my Mellotron?
Do you have a real one?
You have a Mellotron?
I have one that's a digital model that you don't have to have the tapes, but it sounds great. I was just going to show you real quick.
I know which one you're talking about.
It's called a 4000D Mini. Cost me over $2,000. Plus, I had to get the cards that go with it. That was another $1,200.
I went to in 2005. I went to a prog festival in Pennsylvania to see IQ because I knew I was going to have, if I wanted to ever see the band IQ, I'd have to travel. Mm-hmm. And one of the bands that opened for them was, at the time they were a new band. They're called Wobbler, and Wobbler has made a bunch of albums since then. But I saw Wobbler, and the keyboardist had double Mellotrons, so he could play them, one on one side and one on the other. And I met him afterwards, and I said, "Hey, you're the first person I've ever seen that has had 2 Mellotrons, like real ones, on stage." And he said, "I have 3. There's one under my Fender Rhodes. You just can't see it from the audience." And he said, do you want to buy one? He said, because I can't take all 3 of them back to the UK. And I was like, well, yeah, I'd like to buy one, but what
do they weigh?
I'm not going to be able to do that.
Are they like 500 pounds?
Oh, I bet you they weighed a ton.
They put 500 pounds of crap inside a plastic case.
Have you guys ever heard the story about Tony Kaye when he played in David Bowie's band after he left Yes and the Mellotron? No. Tony Kaye hated the Mellotron, and the guys in Yes really liked it. So maybe that's why they got rid of it.
Is that David live or David stage?
I'm not sure. But anyway, so Mellotrons are really hard to maintain. Or at least the original ones used to be. They would get out of line, and before you could play, you'd have to get in there with a screwdriver and align all the heads and everything. And Tony Kaye hated it so much that one night after the show, when they were loading back up into the truck, he pushed it out of the back of the truck and was like, "Oops."
Oh my God.
Now I don't know what David Bowie felt about that, because he needed to play Space Oddity and he needed to have a Mellotron. But I've heard that story, but I've never heard the rest of the story, like whether or not David Bowie got pissed off at him or fired him or whatever. But apparently at some point he got so frustrated with the Mellotron he pushed it off the truck.
Do you guys know what Robert Fripp said about Mellotrons in 1974?
What?
Tuning a Mellotron doesn't.
Yeah. That's why when you had those guys like Mike Pinder from the Moody Blues, that he was like a Mellotron expert. So for him, it was no problem. So he probably knew how to take it apart.
But I think humidity had a lot of effect on the Mellotron.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't like humidity.
A lot of things had a lot of effect on a Mellotron because of the capstan and the way the tape went across. Now, what I've got is all done electronically, so it's a thin thing. It's only about.
I really do like those digital ones. They're really cool. I like that they made them white to sort of.
And the reason I bought mine is because Sean Lennon was using one in his band, and I said, I got to have one, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, instead of, I don't know, Rand, if you've done a video on it, but instead of playing guitar, why don't you do
I got a lot of Mellotron videos up.
But you've ever done like a demo of it? I haven't went through all your stuff.
Yeah, I did, and I used a bunch of Tangerine Dreams in the Tangerine Dream section, and I got a copyright claim.
Oh.
You're losing money, Rand.
Getting the keys.
Well, I'll have to go through your archives and check that out.
Yeah, I've got one called, what's it called? Patrick Moraz. It's the samples from Fish Out of Water. You just push the key and you can hear Patrick Moraz playing the entire intro to hold out your hand.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You do realize how specific you are, Rand, in your prog knowledge. You do recognize that, right?
I write prog questions for the Contrarians.
No, that's my point. I've been there.
No one can answer them.
Of which I will never pick ever. But I think it's hilarious that your whole premise, this last one, you go, I think it was even Grant who got the question.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was.
As we know, there's a lot of famous Italian prog bands. The premise has already screwed us up because we're like, I can't think of any.
I know. The way Marco read it.
There's a lot of them. I just can't think of any of them.
I wrote out 10 bands, and I said, pick 3.
Goblin, I remember that. I've got one. Hang on, let me see if I.
And then I forgot what they were. I can remember only 3.
Everyone forgets what they were.
It's like saying we're all familiar with the bands from wherever. Pick, like.
But honestly, I thought Tim Derling would know this stuff. Everybody kept saying he had the degree of difficulty that was higher than everyone else. They even had a category called Tim Derling level questions.
Right.
And I thought, okay, well, I'll write for Tim Derling, and he didn't get any of them.
Well, nobody got them because they were ridiculous.
Martin Popoff got PFM.
Ernesto's got one right there, L'Orme. I couldn't think of it, but that's one.
The thing about Wobbler, Todd?
Yeah.
Pete Pardo and I did a Wobbler ranking the albums last September. So if you want to check it out, it's on my page.
Okay.
Rand Anthony. No, it's not on my page. It's on
his.
It's on Sea of Tranquility. Excuse me.
Yeah, that was in 2005. So I don't remember the name of that album. I think it might have just been Wobbler.
I think it might have been called Hinterland.
Yes, that was it.
That was their first record. And they've really changed since then. The last
I figured.
Dwellers of the Deep is unbelievable.
Yeah, I still have to check that out.
Oh, my God.
You guys ever seen this?
Yeah, I own that.
Yeah, it's a documentary about the Mellotron.
I bought that before I bought my Mellotron.
It's actually pretty good.
I know. I love that. Yeah. They even talked to Brian Wilson, I think.
Yeah. This is Brian Wilson's quote on the back. The Mellotron stays cool, Brian Wilson.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I'll stop talking about Mellotron now.
I told Marco I'll start submitting questions for the group, and then you're all screwed.
I wrote Marco a letter, and I said, I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I said, do you want me to make them a little easier? And he goes, it's probably a good idea.
Well, Grant was teasing. He's like, Peter will give him some question, and they'll show him like a picture of a stand. Tell you what manufacturer it is and whose kit it's on, or something kind of stupid like that.
No, I don't know.
We can all dive deep.
Ernesto says Italian prog is very good, and he's right. We were poking fun, but Ernesto is correct.
Yeah, we used to call that spaghetti rock back in the 70s. I saw PFM live in Sacramento. They opened for the weirdest bill ever, Dave Mason.
I love Dave.
Yeah, we listened to All Along the Watchtower and walked out.
Why?
Because we were so Italian prog, we just couldn't handle it.
But it's a bad.
If we would have went there to see Dave Mason by himself, I'm sure it would have been a great show. But
that's a bad bill.
That was a weird bill. They do. Pete does shows on Saturday about weird bills and stuff, that bands that don't fit together, and you got to sit through them and stuff like that.
Well, when I saw it, I don't know how they're really kind of similar. I mean, when I saw Cheap Trick in '79, Graham Parker and the Rumor were becoming big, squeezing out the sparks, and they opened for Cheap Trick, and that was a yawn fest.
I think his record company was trying to market him as new wave.
Yeah, that was not fun.
Yeah.
This is the CD I was trying to find, but I was looking and I couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah, Semiramis. I don't have that, but a lot of people think that's really great. I'd like to listen to it, but I can't find it online anywhere.
It's great. I think I got it out of Discogs.
What's weird is Amazon Prime will show the live version of that you can listen to it. You can download it, but not the studio album. Can't find it.
And what a great album cover.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy looking.
It's trippy.
And that's another band that only did one album, and then they reunited and did more. So that's just clear blue vinyl. Yeah, I might order one of those.
I don't know. I just found this online.
I can read it from here. It says clear blue something LP. Enhanced. Yeah. Clear blue enhanced LP.
This is enhanced too.
Are you, Grant?
You gotta love the title though. Rescue Me. My God.
Are you gonna make fun of Tom Jones like all night?
No. Tom's got hand. Look
how they do the E. See, that's the font that they used on Genesis, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
I'm not making fun of Tom. I love this. The man's got game.
Oh, there's a good question there, but I'm not sure I should ask it.
I think he's got enough testosterone for like 6 people.
I'll ask half the question.
Better than most American prog.
I'll ask half the question, and you guys can fill in the blanks.
Are you familiar with the album Ernesto Cathedral? Prog band from Indiana from the mid-'70s?
Never heard of it.
I thought you were Mr. Prog.
Ernesto Cathedral?
No.
Hold on.
That means nothing to me.
No. He's telling Ernesto, the band Cathedral.
Oh, Cathedral Stained Glass Stories? Yeah, I love it. That's 1977, I think.
God, I can't find anything.
There are 3 cathedrals out there. There's a super heavy metal one that you can't listen to because they growl on everything. Then there's another one that's kind of proggy, and then there's one that's really, really proggy from New York. And I think that's the one he's talking about, Stained Glass Stories.
Where is it?
I don't know. I lost my tuner for my guitar the other day, and I walked into the living room and I told my girlfriend I was all upset and frustrated because I couldn't find my tuner. So she asked me, she goes, "Where did you see it last?"
That's a legit question.
I know, but you can't answer that.
Do you not alphabetize?
I do.
It's in C.
Got a lot.
It's in C.
I pull a lot. I've got a whole bunch in a bin because
Are you talking about Cathedral Stained Glass Stories?
Yes, that's a.
You have the original. Record. You have the original on Symphonic Records.
Is it the CD?
No, I mean, do you have the original LP?
No, I've got the CD.
Okay, Symphonic. Yeah, Greg Walker,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great album. I'm so glad I got that because it's kind of rare. It's hard to find. But guess what, Grant? They did a second album that nobody likes it.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I picked it up.
Yeah, when everybody puts something down, generally I don't buy it.
I mean, I've got a lot of CDs in that closet. Was that what happened, Randy? You all right?
That's how I hiccup, guys. Don't worry about it.
God.
I have kind of a hiatal hernia sometimes.
Sometimes? Isn't that something that you have like all the time?
Well, I don't know. It just happens. I never know when it's going to happen. My boss,
I gotcha.
My boss My boss once said, "What is wrong with you?"
Ernesto, you're going to check out Cathedral? Stained glass. Check it out.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Here to cover. Cover looks like that.
That's it. That's so the original album. That's the
original LP. Yeah, I got that on Discogs. The CD looks like it's a little different looking. I don't know why Greg changed it. I never asked him. Is that too bright? I don't know.
No, it looks all right. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, great band.
Somewhere in there.
It's kind of hard to pigeonhole these guys into a thing, you know. I mean, they sound kind of like this, they sound kind of like that. It's, you know, I mean, you can use all the things you can think of. Gentle Giant, yes. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Pink Floyd, just Nectar. I mean, the list goes on and on. They're just everywhere, these guys. They're so good. Yeah, BM Bolt says that Cathedral is good. Yeah, it's excellent.
BM Bolt, do you have this record?
You want to hear my question? Where does his hair end and hers?
Oh, no. Whoa.
Hey, this is a family show, Ray. This is a family show.
I know, that's why I didn't finish it.
And BM, do you have this too? That's what we want to know. This one's a good one.
Something about
that is a good one. It has "She's a Lady" on it.
Yeah, it's got "You've Lost That Love and Feeling," and "Rescue Me's" on there too.
That one's an original. The other one was a compilation.
That was a comp. Okay, I suspected that.
You know, it's not unusual. It's probably the first song I ever heard him sing, and he was. I think it was on the John Davidson show. Come to think of it, but I always liked "What's New Pussycat." I think that song is really cool. It's got some really neat chord progressions in it.
I like that song.
And it came from that. I think it's a Woody Allen movie.
Yes.
So one Italian prog band that I'm familiar with, and I may not be saying it wrong, but Locanda del Fate.
Yeah.
Am I saying that wrong? I like that. A friend recommended that to me. Yeah.
Yeah, Greg Walker's been trying to push that on me for 30 years. It's Locanda del Fate.
Okay, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce the name of the album, but
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's blue.
I got it in my to listen list on Amazon Prime. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
They are supposedly, I've never listened to them. I got it. I just haven't got around to it. There's so much I can't catch up with.
Yeah, BM, I don't know if you want to sit through this mess, to be quite honest.
I'm about to call it, I think, or at least for me.
Well, we've been on here
242.
242.
Okay, here you go.
Any Tom Jones from 1965 up through 72.
Yeah, this is supposed to be fantastic.
Yeah, it is. The person
I know that album cover.
The person who told me about it was somebody that I met at Morse Fest years ago, and he called it the most beautiful album ever made. Now, I don't agree but it is very beautiful.
Who's Drake?
He's like a rapper. Isn't he?
I don't want.
Or is it Drake Bell? Which Drake are we talking about?
Nick Drake.
Just Drake.
Nick Drake.
Like Cher, Drake.
Tom is his own category.
I like Drake Bell.
Nick Drake died. Don't say anything about it, Nick Drake.
I know who you're talking about, Ernesto.
Ernesto, we know we're picking up what you're putting down.
But this show it's probably the funnest thing I've ever done online. Can
I get a quote on there and use
my girlfriend is 3,000 miles away. I'm stuck with taking care of the animals and watering the plants, and I'm bummed to death. And I am so happy to be on this show.
Haha, very funny, BM Bolt.
Yes, you can quote me.
We do talk about that, but it doesn't start right off in the beginning. It goes on a tangent about
So fast forward
Dolby.
about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What does it mean we know which bands to blame? I don't understand that.
Because of how we turned out.
Oh,
He's here
The
all
rapper.
week.
I've been asked
Try
if
to
I,
feel.
was if I was dropped on my head a lot in concrete when I was a kid, but
I've never asked that. Maybe that's where you got your hernia.
I've been asked that a lot.
It could be.
Oh my
Might be where
God.
you got it.
Hey, can I just shoot it out there and ask a question?
If it's not anything
It's
about
clean.
Tom,
Is it one of your Prague trivia questions?
No,
Okay.
it's clean. It's clean. Do you think we're going to do a Beatles show on Tuesday at 5 o'clock?
I don't know.
Well,
Wait, is it on the schedule?
we missed a week. It should be on the schedule. It's going to be every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. But when you talked about your calendar the other day, you didn't mention it. So I wanted to remind you.
Well, I don't have it on my calendar.
Please put it on your calendar
Okay.
because I want to get done. We've got 16 episodes.
Well, we can go through it pretty fast because all mine are all 5-star reviews.
Yeah, you're great on there. You love the Beatles. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but to be quite honest, Rand, it's hard for me to talk about them like that because I like everything, and it's just a lot of review that it's. I don't really have anything to add that's not already been said.
But you know, everything changes at Sergeant Pepper. It goes back to the UK version. They become one, and I've just been wondering.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a problem, right? We just keep going.
I thought we were just doing the American ones.
Well, Sergeant Pepper is an American one.
Yeah, but I mean, the U.S. albums. Well,
It's
Magical
on
Mystery
Capitol
Tour.
Records.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess I don't know.
Well,
I haven't put
if
much
you
thought
want-
into it.
You could jump up to Hey Jude.
I just thought we
If
could.
we just want to start with "Hey Jude" on Tuesday, that'd be fine with me. Then we'd be done.
Really, it's getting like that, is it?
Well, no, but I don't really like to talk Beatles, to be quite honest,
No.
because it's not. They've been beat to death, and there's nothing that we can talk about that.
Well, the whole point. Well, we shouldn't be talking this in public, but
Does anyone have any Phyllis Dillard? No, but I've got Festus from Gunsmoke on vinyl.
she called her husband Fang. That's all I know about her.
She was
Why?
really in the in circle.
She was
Her,
funny.
Lucille Ball, and some of
Yeah.
the other few female comedians. She could hang with any of them. You'd see her with the Rat Pack. You'd see her with all
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, and she
She was
smoked like a chimney, just like the guy.
She was a prominent player.
And she
Yeah,
wasn't
she-
ugly.
She didn't
wasn't
take
ugly.
she didn't take herself seriously. And
Yeah,
that's
she
the
made
beauty of
herself look ugly, but she wasn't ugly.
it.
I
You
don't-
know, so if she's already making fun of herself, then you've already disarmed everybody who'd come at her with that. So she was in control of every conversation.
To answer Ernesto, I don't.
No. But she's a classic.
yeah.
Well, and as far as your Beatles conversation, there's a lot less weight on my shoulders since I don't listen to anything past Revolver anyways. So
We were pushing
Yeah,
the
the
envelope.
American Revolver was really weird. I mean, I had no clue what I was missing until I bought Yesterday and Today and found out what was going on.
Well, I could keep going, but I think I'm about done. I'm like Todd. Does anybody have anything I'm going to wind this dog up. Does anybody have anything to plug before we go?
I would like to talk about the Grant's Rock Warehouse that we did with Reed Little about your two favorite songs from every Doors album, which I believe just
Go
dropped
ahead and
today.
talk about it right now.
I think it just dropped today. Is that right? Am I correct?
It did.
So it's out now. You can watch it, and it was a lot of fun. And it was really fun listening to those records again and trying to pick favorite songs. And I really enjoyed it. So I hope everybody watches that.
I'll
Yeah, I've
watch
got
it.
2 graphics for it. I didn't like this one, so I redid it. But
Oh,
now
I
I
like
like
that one.
this one.
I like
it.
I like
don't
that one because it's got Ray, the most important guy, right up front.
So, but that was good. We went for about an hour and, 20 minutes.
It seems like it flew by.
It was good.
Yeah.
2 favorites from each album.
Yep.
Well, from the Morrison
No.
period records.
yeah.
Well, the first one I'll just tell you real quick from the first one. I would say Light My Fire and The Crystal Ship.
Those are good choices.
I did Light My Fire and The End.
I love The Crystal Ship. I think that's one of the most beautiful songs. That song needs Mellotron. I could do my own version of that.
Well, I just like the way Ray made everything sound like his. I like how he put distortion on things and made everything sound unique and weird. And
well, I will say this from my perspective: Ray is the genius, the arranger, the composer, the mood maker, everything. Most of that comes from his head.
Mm-hmm.
The secret weapon is Mr. Densmore.
Yes.
Because
always about those damn drummers with this guy.
He is so unique.
It's true. There's nobody that sounds like him.
Nobody has ever played like him.
Yep.
And most people who try to do contemporary copies put contemporary beats on them, and they just destroy the entire feel. He is clearly, like a lot of his contemporaries in that era, he is a jazz first drummer.
When he gets drumming on the end and when the music's over, is just phenomenal.
And I'm not using this word disparagingly. He's like a lounge drummer.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
He's not there to be bombastic. He's not there to do anything except create the perfect environment that Ray needs to do what he needs to do.
Have you heard this?
I've never heard that.
No.
It's phenomenal. This is Prague City right here. So good. The Golden Scarab. I love it.
Well, I love the making. I love when he's on there talking about how he wrote Riders on the Storm. And have you seen that, Todd?
What? Like
where Ray sits down at the Rhodes and tells you how he.
I feel like I have. Yeah,
it's
I feel
funny
like I
because,
have.
You know, he's going through and he said, well, I came up with this chord progression and I can't remember what they are at the moment, but he's going through and now he said they get ready to record it. And Jerry Sheff is playing bass.
Mm-hmm.
Elvis's bass player and the father of Jason, who ended up being in Chicago.
Right.
Anyways, he looked at him. He goes, what key is this in? And he's like, this. He goes, look how easy it is. And you show him on the keyboard. It's like this. It's like all it does is shift your wrist. And he's like, oh, look what I got to do on the bass. It's like all over the bloody place. All these machinations and open strings and everything. He's like, couldn't we do this in a different key, please? He's like, no, this is how you did.
That's great.
Okay, I'll do it. But
that's great.
It was easy because Ray wrote it on the keyboards. It was easy, you know.
John Densmore's book, Riders in the Storm, is really good. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I need to read that.
I read it years ago, but I need to read it again.
This is really good. Carmina Burana.
I've heard that's good too. I've never heard that either.
I've got this on LP. It's phenomenal. This is that piece of music where you hear da 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 da.
That's O Fortuna, the first movement.
Yeah. I was living in Fortuna when I bought this record. I was living in Fortuna, California when I bought the record, believe it or not. Yeah, it's great stuff.
I played the original Carmina in college. It's the only time I ever needed 6 timpani.
Carl Orff.
Carl Orff is the composer of Carmina Burana. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And
it's used in that
Excalibur.
Excalibur, yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
I love Excalibur. That's my favorite King Arthur movie ever.
Yeah, I love how dark it is.
Did you know that? Did you know that's Helen Mirren that plays Morgana?
Yeah, Morgana. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Patrick Stewart's in there.
He's gorgeous. Yeah, that's true. And he has hair.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very dark movie.
It's awesome. I love it. Yeah. I actually bought it. I can watch it anytime. Maybe I might play that tonight. What the hell?
Yeah, that first opening movement, O Fortuna, is probably the most popular piece.
It's a creepy. I know it's such an easy melody, but that's creepy sounding.
Yeah.
At any level. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of dissonant in it. And anytime you get chanting vocals in those close harmonies,
right?
Dissonant
female choirs,
just dissonant intervals, it gets to be pretty creepy. And the orchestration is just massive. It's, like I said, I needed 6 timpani to play that one, where I mostly could get away with 2 or 3. And sometimes I needed the 4th, but I needed 6 because the range was just so crazy that I needed extra ones to get pitches that I couldn't get out of the regular ones. But it's unbelievably difficult to play. It's an amazing piece.
I've got timpani in my Mellotron where I can just push a key down and it actually rolls.
I think a Casio has some drums in it too. So,
oh yeah,
not good drums either.
I have 8 synthesizers and 1 Mellotron and all kinds of stuff that just sits there in the other room, and I always hang out over here watching YouTube videos.
Well, that's not our fault.
Rock Warehouse. I want to put yours up on my page, but I don't know how to do it. I think you got to send it to me.
What do you mean? Put what on my? What?
I was going to put up Obscure Albums #3 on my YouTube, but I don't know how to do it.
Oh, well, I can send it to you.
Yeah, you'd have to send it to me to figure it out, because I tried doing a copy and it didn't work.
No, it won't work.
And there's no way to do it. I have to have a source, I guess. Anyways, you guys, it's been a lot of fun.
It's been fun.
We should have started this on Friday.
Well, I would have done it on Friday, but I was in Cincinnati. It's going to be on Friday.
Records.
Huh?
You were in Cincinnati buying records.
Well, no, I was in Cincinnati to see my daughter, but.
Oh, well, no, didn't you buy records there too?
Yeah, well, I bought CDs. Quite a few.
Right.
Were you and I the only ones who got the Steve McQueen comment?
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it.
You did. It was on your page. You said I'm with my kid in Cincinnati. My kid in Cincy. I go.
Oh, the Cincinnati kid.
I go. Steve McQueen.
I did see that. I saw the Sand Pebbles. I've seen a lot of Steve McQueen.
I can't keep track of what's going on.
I think The Great Escape is the best thing he's ever done.
I have an affinity for Bullet.
Oh yeah, well yeah, I forgot about Bullet. Best chase scene ever. That's for sure. That's San Francisco. Right. I gotta go. My dogs are going crazy.
Okay. Well, we're winding. Yeah. Ernesto said.
Thanks for everybody putting up with my madness.
You were fine.
I know.
Good chat, guys. Lots of interesting stuff.
I'll see you Tuesday, Grant.
Tuesday.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
I'll Zoom you.
5 o'clock. Anyway, gentlemen, I'm not gonna plug anything.
It's another one of my hiccups. God, they're embarrassing. Sorry. I need to shut you guys down. How do I do that?
Leave studio down on the bottom.
Oh, I don't see it.
That's all right. I'm going to end the broadcast here in about a minute. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming on. Thank you, everyone who ended up making comments. Yeah, I kind of threw it off because we moved it to Saturday and it was supposed to be yesterday. But whatever. It's going to be on Fridays, though, like every.
No, I'm just saying we could have used the extra time. We're already into Saturday now.
It was free form.
Yeah, I know. You're right. We could have kept going. All right, gentlemen. We'll have a good night. And
yeah, we almost went 3 hours. Holy moly.
This is routine for Grant and I when we're together. So
this is what Peter and I do. We have nothing else to do. All right. Well, glad you could make it. So
Thanks for having me.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Who knows what's coming up next, but there'll be something.
See you when we see you.
Beatles 65 on Rand Anthony Kelly. Tuesday. There might be
something before that.
Well, I'm plugging myself. You said plug yourself. So.
Oh, yeah. Rand Anthony Kelly, Beatles.
Yeah, if you want to see
one-stop shop for Beatles. And
if you want to see some Mellotron playing on there, it's pretty easy to find because I'm sitting at it.
All righty.
I'll look for it.
White thing.
All right. Good night, gentlemen. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.